This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, glad you're with us here on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. It is absolutely lovely outside. This would be the time to get up and run outside and do your exercise, if that's what you do first thing in the morning, because it's in the mid-60s, it looks like. And I saw a little bit of fog out near the river bottoms. I don't know if that's going to be an issue for the drive-in this morning. We'll get Sue Thomas on top of that for you. I hope not. It appeared to be actually pretty high above the ground. Did you see any of that, Kim? As you crossed the river this morning, did you notice that?
Just the fog.
What's that?
You said you're seeing. What was
I
it?
saw there was
flooding.
Possibility of fog.
Yeah, no. Oh, fog. I'm sorry. I've heard. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm looking for a pen, so I'm listening to you, but also not listening to you because I'm trying to find a pen.
Okay, that's okay. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a problem for the drive-in this morning, but we will we'll keep you up to date on that if indeed we hear anything from Sue Thomas, who will be along here in just a couple of minutes. I see that everybody has now left the building looking for a pen.
All right, people, we need to leave the pens in the studio, please. Why is this such a problem every morning?
I'm sure other people that share workspaces experience the same problem. Every day, every morning I come in here, something's different in the studio than it was the day before. Usually the pens are all missing. Today there happens to be one in here, so that's a good thing.
Hold on, there was no pen. I noticed there was no pen, so Ethan was kind enough to go outside, get you a pen, and bring it to your space. So technically,
thank you.
There was not. I feel like that's kind of a thing more and more where people, that's the way that these offices are moving is you kind of have this shared workspace, so you don't actually have your own desk.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think some of them are going to move away from that. I'll never forget. If I've told this story, I apologize. But years ago, when I was considering getting out of the news business originally, I went down and interviewed at Anheuser-Busch, and the Belgians had just taken over. And I went down there in my suit. I came straight from work. I went down there to do an interview. I went to the top floor of that Anheuser-Busch building. And I walk in, and everybody's wearing, like, chinos and a golf shirt. And the director of human resources, who still sometimes listens to this show, they called him the director of people or something like that, was sitting at a desk right next to everybody else. Like, didn't have an office, didn't have a divider between his desk and the one next to him. It was so weird. Like, how could you have a private conversation in that environment? I don't know. Now, fast forward 20 plus years, because that was a long time ago. They're still doing it in some local workforces, some local workplaces. My daughter experienced it when she changed jobs recently. You walk in, and every day you could technically sit in a different spot. You don't really have an assigned desk. You just have you find a workspace. People don't put family photos up or anything because the next day there may be somebody else sitting there.
Yeah.
That's insane. Why do people do that?
I feel like, well, if you're the director of people, as they called him, I could see why they'd want to do that because they want him around everybody. But there are just certain roles, like my husband's role at work. He makes a lot of calls, and he has to have privacy. He absolutely has to be able to close the door to make calls.
Yes. Thank you.
You know? So, yeah, it's weird. The whole thing is, well, a lot of the companies, heck, some of them don't even have a brick and mortar. They don't even have a place. They just, they go to those co-working, whatever they call them, spaces. You just go and, do you have to, like, pay to work there? I don't even know. Do you pay to work at one of those spaces? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Call me old school, but I think you should be a little intimidated by the HR director. If you get called into HR, that's usually not a good sign, right? I don't know. In my business, that's not a good sign.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
No, of course not. I'm just saying if you get called into HR, they're either getting ready to frog march you out the front door with a box of your stuff, or maybe you've offended some snowflake's feelings. But that's going to be hard to do if you're sitting at a desk with 50 other people to your left. But I don't know. Just kind of weird. I just thought that whole thing was kind of weird. Give me a desk. And to this day, I know people, and some of them are in this building, who basically, if they left here tomorrow, the box containing all of the stuff they have in their workplace would probably be like, 6x6. Like that, people just don't keep anything real personal on their desk.
Well, I have a desk in Reardon's office, and it gets my own workspace that Tricia was nice enough to give me.
Right.
And I have nothing on there.
Have you seen my office lately?
Yeah, you have a bunch of stuff
cluttered.
on there. I know.
It's cluttered.
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, you're right.
It is, but it's got mementos
it's got
and
cool stuff in there.
Pictures, and I mean, it's just got stuff. It's just a reflection of things I've accumulated over my career. And that way, when they do march me out of here someday, they're going to need a big box. So that's my goal, is to make them have to carry as heavy a box as possible when they walk me out of here. So we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. So
nothing like having my stuff in a box whenever I got let go from KMOV. They wouldn't let me in, obviously, so they had to have an executive pack up my desk and drop it off to my apartment.
They were afraid you would infect everyone with COVID.
I guess so. Yeah, I wasn't allowed back in the building.
You non-vaxxer, you. Shame on you.
Yep.
Shame on you. All right, coming up, we're going to get to John Lamping a little later. It is Tuesday, so we will also get to 2A Tuesday. Some big news, some big gun legislation that happened last week. We talked a little bit with Hans yesterday about the National Firearms Act. We'll get to more with that with Mark a little later. Todd Piro is back from his, I think, 2-week-long vacation with his family. I saw a picture of him on, I don't know if it was X or Instagram the other day, where he had almost grown a full beard in the 2 weeks he had off. So I'm sure he's shaved now. I didn't see him on this morning, but I'm sure he is ready to go back to work for his first time in 2 weeks. We got Ryan Wiggins coming up a little later, and we're going to tell you about a great event where you can raise some money for Folds of Honor. And I love that. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. You still got plenty of time to sign up. We'll talk about that in the 8 o'clock hour today. Right now, let's get to our top stories, Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
He's trying to prosecute another elderly man for the thing that he made possible, which is the vaccines. Let's just call that what it is.
Abdu al-Sayed is now claiming that Donald Trump is persecuting one elderly man for something, as you heard, he accuses Trump of doing, which is of what I don't know. Did Donald Trump tell people to mask, not mask? Dangerous, not dangerous? Did Donald Trump know the shot was dangerous for women, but told women to take it anyway? I don't think so, Abdul.
I've never seen such misrepresentation in the media of the actual facts that took place. A soldier fell overboard and was rescued. They were claiming that multiple soldiers were committing suicide.
Thank you, Jack Keane. Honestly, he just spoke with one of the commanders who flew out to the USS Lincoln to find out what the real situation was. And Jack Keane just laid bare all of the lies by the mainstream media about how much our sailors are suffering right now.
The Democrats, what they're promising, not a whole lot of nothing when they're the ones that created these high prices in our country. Now they're saying that they're the ones that can fix it. It's simply not true.
Thank you. Byron Donalds, next governor of the state of Florida. By the way, their primary is today in Florida. I think maybe Alaska and one other state. I don't know if it's Wyoming or somewhere. Anyway, there's several big primaries today heading into November.
Why didn't they bring the suit a year before? Why did they bring the suit in the middle of construction when $400 million almost is spent on its construction? Why wouldn't they have started the suit a year early? Everybody knew it was going to be. It was no secret. Everybody knew that it was taking place.
Thank you, Mr. President. Why do people hate America? If you hate America, here's the door. I will personally start the GoFundMe page to fly you to the country you think does it better than the United States of America. The people in D.C. who so vehemently hate Donald Trump also hate America. And I say that because that lawsuit the president was referring to against the ballroom that he's building, a ballroom that's going to benefit the next president of the United States, not Donald Trump. It won't be finished probably before he leaves office. So, but it will benefit the next 40 or 50 presidents we have. And it's going to include, we now know, a top secret bunker location underneath the ballroom. Now, did I need to know that? No. If it's top secret, it should have remained top secret. But the people that hate the president went to court and filed a lawsuit exposing all of the plans for the top secret location, which isn't going to hurt Donald Trump. It's going to hurt the next Democrat president that might have that job. It's not hurting Donald Trump. And in the meantime, they're giving aid and comfort to our enemies. Why do these people hate America? This commission that's suing over Donald Trump tearing down the East Wing there. I'm sorry. It's gone. Your lawsuit's not going to make it come back magically. So what have you accomplished other than comfort and aid to people who hate America? You have accomplished nothing, zero, and it's still going to get built because they're not going to leave a hole in the ground. This is just, it's the height of absurdity in D.C., all because of their overwhelming, all-consuming hatred of one man, Donald Trump. Speaking of which, Rosie O'Donnell was back last night. I'll play a little bit of that for you coming up. Let's get to our national anthem.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We are looking good on the roads. There is some road work going on westbound 70 past Lindbergh, and it looks like they have the right lane and the right shoulder blocked through there, but it's really not causing any kind of delay at this hour. It's just quiet enough that it's fine. Now, we do have, of course, a road closure on the Illinois side, and that is westbound 64, completely shut down between 255 and 18th Streets, and that is in effect until Monday the 24th by 5 a.m., but at this hour it's fine. Westbound 5570, though, has some slow-moving traffic at 255 headed for 111. Yep, and other than that, we're quiet. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let's talk about Golden Oak Lending and what a great job they're doing right now. Do you have a lot of credit card debt sitting out there? Are those higher bills affecting you right now, creating a lot of financial stress? You can get rid of that with one phone call, 314-567-GOLD. That's Golden Oak Lending. You refinance with Golden Oak Lending. It's going to allow you to use your home's equity and consolidate those high interest rate credit cards and other bills into one manageable monthly payment. And they are ahead of the curve when it comes to the rates they're offering right now. You need to call and talk to them and let them explain exactly how this works. Because, listen, we've all been there. You have a tough month. You can't get ahead. You put something on a credit card, and then you're looking at 30% interest on that, and getting it paid off sometimes is a struggle. Let Golden Oak Lending help. 314-567-GOLD. Or if you go to goldenoaklending.com right now, you can go on and apply on their app right online. It's secure, and you can start your application process right now. Tell them Marc Cox sent you when you call over there. Their NMLS number is 114937.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Every child deserves a childhood. Make-A-Wish creates life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. When we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Join us today at wish.org and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hi, I'm Eric. And I'm Howard. We're the pain guys of Canner and Pintaluga. You already know after an accident to call 911 and then 411. 1-800-411-PAIN.
But you may not know behind the number is an experienced law firm with nearly 100 attorneys working hard for our clients.
Call the pain guys at 1-800-411-PAIN.
Law Offices of Canner and Pintaluga, Kyle Conhauser, Esquire. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Offices throughout the U.S. Not all lawyers licensed in all jurisdictions.
The time now is 5:23, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. We're going to get inside Kim's head and Kim on a whim. That's coming up at 5:35.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
And it's an honor to be with Ryder Williams, who is a 16-year-old lifeguard, California, the Santa Cruz area. And I understand he was a winner right from the time they first saw him as a lifeguard. A lot of training, a lot of work. And he saved this young gentleman who I had a long talk with. I said, would you have made it without him? And he said, not really, right? Not really, he was trouble.
That was nice.
Have a long and beautiful life.
We expected that to happen. That was the president yesterday entertaining that young lifeguard out there that you saw rescue that 10-year-old out of the surf. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was getting battered. Every time he'd pop up out of the surf, another huge wave would hit him and roll him, and it took a few minutes even for other people to get down there and try to help pull the two of them out of that mess.
Oh, yeah.
No, and what a great kid. And he was back at work the next day.
It was impressive. What he was able to do, because the 10-year-old did not look like he was conscious.
And as the president said, I asked him, would you have survived without him being there? And he goes, no way. Yeah. There's just no way I could have fought that surf. So I was glad to see them get that done yesterday. That was nice. That was a nice event there in the Oval Office. Guess what? This voice, I hate to even listen to it. Remember when I would play these, she would record things from her porch somewhere in Ireland where she was talking to squirrels, had that that matted gray hair and looked like she was 100 years old. Rosie O'Donnell, that gravelly voice. She hated the president so much she had to move. Last night she was back hosting the Jimmy Kimmel show, of all things. Here you go.
Thank you. You know, I've been living in Ireland for the past 2 years because of Mango Mussolini. I read that Project 2025 and said, gotta get myself out of here, you know? And I decided to go to Ireland, a place where people are driven to drink regardless of who's running their country.
Yeah. She actually had a couple of funny lines. But her problem is whatever is between the ugly gray matter on the left side and right side of her, outside of her head, is all owned by Donald Trump. All of that area in between is Trump real estate. And she can't finish a sentence without mentioning Donald Trump. She's obsessed with him.
You saw what she did recently, right, with her wrist?
What she did with her wrist?
Rosie O'Donnell got the word they tattooed on her wrist in her non-binary child Clay's handwriting.
Yeah.
She says it's a personal reminder to use the correct pronouns for her child because she says it's been a gradual process to get used to that.
She used them last night. Listen to this story she told about why she moved to Ireland, what happened when she made the decision. And it's all about they when she refers to her child. She is criminally insane. Listen to this woman.
I decided to move, and I took my little then 11-year-old kid with me, and I just said, whatever you do, don't tell anyone, because we don't want a lot of press and a lot of paparazzi, so please don't tell anyone. And they're a pretty smart kid. You know, they got it. They said, don't worry, I won't, and then went to school and proceeded to tell their entire class. I'm very sorry. I won't be able to graduate 6th grade with you. I'm being forced to move to another country because the President of the United States hates my mother. But in all fairness, I believe my mother hates him more. Hi, I know you're watching.
Yeah, that's it. The entire monologue, not 30 seconds went by without some reference to Trump. She's completely obsessed with him. It was sad to watch.
If you're a business or brand that's still paying for ads people skip or ignore, that's cute. Try a new method of advertising your customers can't mute. Join our mobile movement so you don't get left in our dust because stationary billboards are a bust. Big, bold, loud, and in-your-face advertising that doesn't wait for traffic. We drive through it, bringing your business or brand right to your customers' eyes. You can't delete it. You can't trash it or swipe right. Hell, you can't even ignore it. The answer? The moving billboards, baby. We circulate around any high-traffic venue, capturing people's attention when they're making decisions. Inside stadiums, big brands compete for attention, but outside the stadium, we own the street media. Because in a world that's went mobile, your advertising should too. Try moving billboards. They really work. PinkTiger.ai.
Hey, you heard me brag the other night about all the fun I had out at Lit Cigar Lounge. They had their Cars and Cigars event. It was beautiful. We had a great time and great people. Here, I told you about this the other day, and I asked my friend Brian when I had him on the air, I'm like, is it true you get Charles Glenn, the great Charles Glenn, to come out there and entertain? And he does. Charles and Nikki Glenn entertain. They're scheduled again for Friday, October 23rd. Mark it down on your calendar and plan to go to Lit Cigar Lounge that night. Every Friday night they have live music. And on Friday, October 23rd, they're going to have Charles Glenn. That's going to be great. Enjoy yourself. They got private lockers available. They've got TVs on every wall if you want to watch any kind of sports. Great bar. Best hand-rolled cigars in the country that you can find right here in the district in St. Louis, out in Chesterfield. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Visit litstl.com.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Home Depot reports earnings this morning, kicking off quarterly reports from big retailers. Louis Navalier of Navalier & Associates doesn't expect a big pullback, even though retail sales declined last month.
The only reason retail sales fell was Amazon Prime Day in June. So when we got to July, there was a bit of a hangover, and online sales dropped 2.2%. Gas station sales dropped because lower prices at the pump. And we look at, there was apparel spending was up 1.9. Even furniture spending was up 0.3. But bars and restaurants was up 0.5%. It's been up for 5 months in a row.
Also reporting today, buy now, pay later company Klarna Group and home builder Toll Brothers. Also updates on the housing market for July. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you, would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for emergency vehicles eastbound 78 near the Rock Road. They've got the 2 right lanes blocked. It's early enough that it's really not causing any kind of major delay, but there is a delay a little bit in that area. And there was road work westbound in the same area, kind of in the right lane as well. So a little bit busy through there. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 remains closed, 255 to 18th Street, and the detour includes westbound 5570, which is a little bit busy right now, just a little west of 255. This report brought to you by McKelvey Homes. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
What are you doing this coming weekend? Looks like the weather is going to be perfect. I'm going to be spending part of it in my new RV from avrv.com. That is Apache Village RV, their newest location out in O'Fallon, Missouri. You can still visit their original spot up there in Hazelwood. They've been around for 50 years. You know the name. It's a name you can trust, and they have got the whole customer service thing down pat after all these years. Let me tell you, Tom and all the guys out there at AVRV will take care of you. If you buy an RV from them, here's their commitment to you. If something has gone wrong, let's say, I don't know, the refrigerator goes out or something, you're getting ready to leave on a trip, they're going to get it taken care of before you leave. They'll do it to keep it from interrupting your trip. That's great. If you've planned RV trips, you know it takes some planning, and you can't have something at the last minute throwing you off like that. That's great service. They've been rated the top RV dealership in St. Louis by STL Magazine's A-List. So go out and pay them a visit there near Highway K and 70 on the South Outer Road. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. You can shop today. Over 300 new and used RVs out there. Go to avrv.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Today, the Cards, the Reds,
Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:40. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
If you're considering buying or selling a home, when it comes to choosing the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
Are you still cutting back on the amount of romaine lettuce you're eating, fruits, vegetables, because of the concern of the cyclosporiasis outbreak?
I still think about it. I can be honest with you. I don't know. I've certainly eaten some salad since then, but the thought still lingers in the back of your mind, doesn't it?
But yeah, apparently you're not alone. There was some study I found that said 40% of Americans cut back on purchasing or eating fruits and vegetables.
On our little cafeteria out here, they've got one of those cantinas where they bring fresh food in for you to eat. Kim, do you see the sign out there?
Don't eat the salad.
No, it says none of our salad is sourced from that company that got in trouble. They put a sign out there because I would notice every day when I walked by that nobody was buying the salads. They would buy the sandwiches, but not the salads. So
That's
clearly,
funny.
even these little cantinas have been affected by it.
So you're talking about Taylor Farms.
Taylor Farms.
Right?
It says we do not source our salad from Taylor Farms.
I did not see that, but man, so Taylor Farms is in Mexico, if you're not aware, and man, they have been at the center of several of these incidents. You know, with everything going on with Chipotle, they had just recently an incident with the jalapenos.
Right.
And people were getting sick from eating those. And I was reading some article that I thought was really interesting, talking about how much food the United States specifically imports from Mexico, and concerns about that we've been increasingly dependent on Mexico because of the climate. They can produce things that we can't produce year round, so it makes it a perfect fit to be able to take that stuff in. But the concern is, are their standards as high as our standards? No, they're not. Listen to this. So it talks about how, where was that number? It says the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration's employment fell by 22% this year compared to 2024. And they're saying that that's because of the cuts Donald Trump made when he returned to the White House. So they're saying, well, the inspectors aren't going out there and making sure that, they're keeping up to our standards.
That's why I wondered. Now I know it was Donald Trump's fault all along.
Well, the FDA, of course, came out and said, no, the frontline inspectors were not at all affected by the federal workforce reductions, and that we prioritize our resources based on risk and deploy personnel where they're needed, to make sure everything is safe. Now, here's what's also interesting. It says the U.S. imported less than $3 billion in agricultural products from Mexico back in 1993. That level has increased by more than 1,500% through 2025. As I mentioned, Mexico now accounts for more than 20% of all U.S. food imports.
Okay.
So are they doing a good enough job when they're making sure that the lettuce doesn't have nasty stuff on it when it's coming to the United States?
Yeah. Maybe not, but I would still argue, and I don't have the statistics in front of me, that you're far, far more likely to die at the hands of an illegal alien that Joe Biden let into this country than from any vegetable produced in Mexico and shipped up here that might give you a few days of diarrhea. You're far more likely to die at the hands of an illegal alien, drunk driver, have your child attacked or raped. That is much more likely, statistically.
You feel like you want to die when you have food
poisoning.
I'm
sure you do.
But no, I agree.
Yeah.
Here, listen to this is the former FDA commissioner talking about it.
I think it does call into question produce coming from Mexico. So there is a lot of these pathogens do seem to be emanating from Mexico this season. Something happened in that growing region in central Mexico where sewage somehow got onto the growing fields, perhaps through irrigation. Some of those fields we can't inspect. We can't send U.S. FDA inspectors into those regions because it's unsafe. Cartels operate in those regions. I don't have any reason to believe that FDA wasn't inspecting the fields that are implicated in these outbreaks, but it does call into question whether or not we should be increasing our oversight on those growing fields.
I mean, but what do you do? I mean, do you have someone stationed there or going out and doing more checks than they're already doing? What does that look like? How are we ever really going to be able to ensure that sewage, as disgusting as that sounds, doesn't get on the food?
Probably not, but there's also just the economic pressure on them, right? I mean, I'm not saying you don't need to make sure you have inspectors going in there every once in a while, but this one more incident like this and Taylor Farms will be out of business. Nobody would ever source anything from them again. So the pressure is internal for them to make sure they've got the right standards in place not to poison people, right?
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't you think? I mean, I'm glad that people are concerned about the FDA, and we want to get inspectors out there occasionally to look at this stuff. But if this happens again, that place is out of business. Nobody's going to buy anything from them.
Well, so it says back in 2013, the CDC had linked restaurant-associated illnesses in Iowa and Nebraska to bagged salad mix from Taylor Farms. So this isn't even what we're dealing with right now with cyclosporiasis and then the jalapenos or whatever. It's not even like this is the first time that Taylor Farms has been at the center of this.
Right.
So they had a warning back in 2013. In fact, one of the plants where this was all coming from, the salad at that time, that was actually, I believe, temporarily shut down. Well, enough time has passed. They, hey, we did this, we did
Cleaned
that
it
to
up.
improve things.
Yep,
Come look at
let's
it.
try it
Okay,
again.
check, we're good. And then they reopened. It's really disgusting when you hear about the fact that sewage is what's seeping into the food.
Yeah.
Like, I get they use manure. People are probably like, well, Kim, don't you know they use manure and things like that to try to help farms, blah, blah, blah. I know. But the thought of manure spraying onto the vegetables that then we consume is really disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is disgusting. Somebody's saying, can we stop them from spraying this water on the veggies? Yes. Well,
you're going to stop Mexico?
Yeah.
How would you stop
somebody's
Mexico
arguing
from
this.
doing that?
Somebody's arguing this on the Facebook page this morning. Economic pressure will stop them from doing that. Now, the question here is what kind of manure are they using? Because we know that they fertilize these fields. The problem seems to be getting into the fact that some are using human waste on some of the fields. That was the allegation,
nice.
Correct?
Said sewage.
I'm not sure if you can
I'm
rinse it enough
connecting-
for me to do that. So the FDA is not approving things like that. If they're doing it and people get sick, nobody's going to buy the product anymore.
It said, this poll said nearly half of polled consumers expressed little to no confidence in the FDA regarding how foodborne outbreaks are handled. So maybe we don't trust them. What should they be doing? If they're doing these checks, I'd be curious to see what these checks are like. And is it I mean, if 20% of our food is coming in from Mexico.
The check should be, I'm coming down from the FDA. I'm going to pop in and surprise you. You, sir, come over here. What's your name? Jose, come over here.
Really?
I want you to grab a handful of this salad and eat it right now. And
But you'd have to watch him for like 2 weeks.
and
The
if he's
cyclosporiasis
and if
thing
he's
can
willing
take 2
to
weeks.
if he's willing to do that, then you don't have an issue. And if he's not, then you shut down production and you move on.
So it's back in the day when you had the kings who would have the person who would taste the drink
You
first
need a food
to see
taster.
if it was poison.
That's what you need. You should
But-
randomly. They should randomly select employees from Taylor Farms. Every week, it's a different 5 or 6 people, and they have to come in and have a salad at lunch every day from the stuff they picked that day, and that would put an end to this forever.
So if you're late to work, that's the punishment. That's what you have to be the taster.
If you're late,
you have to be the tester. 3 strikes and you're the tester.
Today, you are the poop tester at Taylor Farms. I'm sorry. Wouldn't
But-
that fix the problem?
Yeah, but it's not like they would probably realize that this is infected. They would think, oh, yeah, we're good, but they would just hope that no one's going to get sick. So you'd almost have to monitor them for 2 weeks to see if they just start getting diarrhea.
I think you'd
I'm
get
sorry to be
sick
talking
sooner
about
than
this
that,
right
but
now.
still.
No, not with cyclosporiasis.
And then if there's nobody left to pick it because they're all sick, then that takes care of the problem too.
This is genius, Mark.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
I
Why
just
are you not working for the FDA?
Handedly solved the problem. You're welcome. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much. That's I don't know what else to say. It just seems to make such perfect sense. By the way, we're going to get back to that question that Jack Keane addressed there at the top of the show. If you were listening to the short list, the left in this country, the activist politicians, the screaming memes that are screaming for congressional investigations into the fact that a few sailors had to spend too many days on a boat, need to have their butts handed to them, if I could just mention that. And yesterday, Jack Keane pretty much single-handedly did that. I'm going to play that for you when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, MoDOT now saying that the accident is westbound 70 near the Rock Road, and they've got the right lane closed. Yeah, that's accurate. Sorry, the camera just came up for me. And you can see a little bit of a delay in that area. Also, there's road work eastbound 370 approaching 270, and that's causing a bit of a slowdown. Now, the other slowdown I'm seeing at this hour is on the Illinois side. It's westbound 5570, slowing at 255. That, of course, is part of the detour for the closure of westbound 64 between 255 and 18th Street. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, Bob and Tammy Kershaw are just like you and me. They're great people. They love their family. They've worked in the family business for years now. They've got a couple of grandchildren, and they're just these are the kind of people you want to be friends with, and they're the kind of people that are going to be looking out for you. And they now run the Retirement Advisory Group. And when you go over and meet with somebody from the Retirement Advisory Group, it's going to be Bob or Tammy. That's who you're there for. You don't have a office full of people or multiple offices. They're doing the same thing they've been doing now for years and years, and that is taking care of their clients and making sure they have enough money in retirement, and they've planned so that their money lasts as long as they do. It's pretty easy. They've even got a book they'll give you called Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement that you can read. It kind of explains what they do, and it's a low-pressure situation. They'd love to work with you. They're not starving. So call them at 314-993-9494. Set up an appointment. Say, I heard Mark talking about this. I'd like to at least come in for my free appointment and hear your ideas, because it's great to have extra ideas when it comes to retirement if you haven't thought about that. Again, 993-9494. Tell them Mark sent you, or go to retirementkey.com.
Self-nominated Nobel Prize candidate Greg Gutfeld is coming to St. Louis Sunday, October 18th. Tickets are on sale now to see the new King of Late Night in St. Charles at the Family Arena. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Industrial automation is complex, but navigating it doesn't have to be. Like a trusted trail guide, Gray Bar's automation specialists help organizations reduce uncertainty, mitigate risk, and plan their next steps. From evaluating existing systems to connecting you with trusted technologies and business partners, we help future-proof your automation so your team can operate with confidence, today and tomorrow. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Taking care of yourself should fit into your life, not complicated. Neovitin Original Formula is a complete daily multivitamin designed to support your everyday wellness routine with essential vitamins, minerals, and a natural ingredient blend, all in just 2 daily tablets. Subscribe online at neovitin.com for monthly delivery or shop Neovitin at your local Schnucks and Dearborn. Neovitin Original Formula is physician formulated to fit easily into your everyday routine. All of our vitamins are manufactured in a certified GMP facility in the USA. Neovitin, make nutrition easy.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You know, one of those people who's kind of been a fringe candidate in recent years in several presidential elections is Jill Stein. Remember that name from the Green Party?
Yeah.
You see that headline about her this morning?
I did.
None of this is surprising. Nobody should be surprised by this. But now a judge has ordered her arrested and held without bond because she just ignored the fact that she was arrested in 2024 over at WashU. She was over there supporting Hamas, and she was accused of kicking a bike officer, a cop on his bike. I don't know if it was a university officer or if it was a WashU police officer. I don't know. But she was one of 100 people arrested after protests at WashU spring of 2024 demanding an end to the war in Gaza and calling on the private university to cut all ties to Boeing. Now, what I'd like to ask this nut job is, where's the party now? Where's the celebration that you've got scheduled at Washington University to celebrate not only the fact that the war in Gaza is over, but that the orange Mussolini, as Rosie O'Donnell referred to him, has now turned over that area to a board of peace to provide a home for all of the Palestinians that you got arrested for protesting for at WashU. Where's the left on this? Have you noticed any celebrations or parties now that what happened in Gaza has been cleaned up? We've got Hamas out of there, it appears. I mean, I don't know if it's a lasting peace, but for now, it's the Board of Peace is in charge. What's not to celebrate, Jill Stein? These people are crazy. And now she's going to end up, she's probably running for president again, but she's getting up there in age. She's like, she's 75 or 76?
She does look good for her age. I'll give her that.
What she looks for her age is crazy, because she is crazy. There's no doubt about that. Just as crazy as Coons and all of these other congresspeople and senators who've been complaining about the situation aboard the USS Lincoln. And I heard one of the greatest takedowns yesterday that I've heard at all on this whole situation. If you listen to it, they're calling for congressional hearings. How could this happen? People are jumping overboard. They're so depressed they don't know what to do. These poor sailors, how could we abuse them for 245 days? It's just awful. It's like they're in prison. All these people who, number one, voluntarily signed up for the military, and it ain't a cakewalk. And particularly in a time of war, it's not a cakewalk, right? So they talked to General Keane yesterday about all of this, and I thought he more than anybody else probably explained this in a way that people need to hear. Go to cut number 3, please.
I've never seen such misrepresentation in the media of the actual facts that took place. A soldier fell overboard and was rescued. They were claiming that multiple soldiers were committing suicide. Not soldiers, sailors. I don't want to insult the sailors by calling them soldiers. But the reality is the misrepresentation has really been quite significant. I mean, I understand people disagree with the war. I got that. It is, and those arguments should be made. But this.
Yeah, but this, listen, he talked to the general or the admiral who flew over there to investigate it. Go to cut 4.
In here, I've never seen such misrepresentation in the media. The misrepresentation has really been quite significant. I mean, I understand people disagree with the war.
Just stop it. He at the tail end of that, he talks about talking to the admiral who flew over there, and he's like, there was one soldier who either fell or jumped overboard. They rescued that guy. There weren't any more than that. The food situation is not as described. It's a bunch of bellyache. And he goes, the media played into this completely because Orange Man bad. They saw another opportunity to figure out a way to try to criticize what Trump is doing in Iran. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. They must have editorial meetings where they sit around and figure out what story could we do today to try to damage the Trump administration. Because here's another lie being told about it, and General Keane set him straight. I'll get that bite edited so we can get to the tail end of it. That's where the really good stuff is. Coming up, we're going to get to the St. Louis Morning Brief. We have got former Senator John Lamping. We'll get to In Other News, and a little bit later, Todd Piro, host of Fox and Friends First.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in traffic with hundreds of thoughts racing through her mind, like what she needs to pack for her family's vacation and what they still need from the store. But you know what she's not thinking about? her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members of our preferred partner plan get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your AC and furnace at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
The polls are just opening in much of Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, where it's primary day and more progressives are trying to unseat more House Democrats.
Republican-led redistricting has changed congressional maps in Florida. So in the state's redrawn 20th congressional district, self-described Democratic socialist Elijah Manley is challenging longtime Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Manley spoke on Fox saying that ICE needs to change.
I'm not a supporter of open borders, but I'm also not a supporter of having an agency kidnapping Americans off the street like ICE has.
In the 25th congressional district, DSA-backed candidate Oliver Larkin is challenging Democratic Representative Jared Moskowitz.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. It's also primary day in Wyoming and Alaska, where President Trump's urging voters to be careful, accusing Democrats of trying to trick people. Fox's Matt Finn explains.
Dan J. Sullivan is a retired teacher who's challenging sitting Republican Senator Dan S. Sullivan. The Alaska Democratic Party and the Mary Patola campaign have denied any involvement in the alleged scheme. Dan J. Sullivan says he's a pragmatic Republican and denies his campaign is a sham.
Peltola is a former Democratic congresswoman trying to unseat Senator Sullivan. The top 4 candidates in today's primary advance to November when Alaska uses a ranked choice voting system. Another ship hit with a projectile in the Strait of Hormuz as Iran's top negotiator again insists the waterway will remain closed until the U.S. meets their conditions. President Trump insists that America controls the strait.
But they're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. Look, we're in there for one reason. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Opening statements are today in Oakland, California, another social media trial. 29 states have sued Meta, accusing the company with Facebook and Instagram of making addictive platforms harming teenagers. Meta calls this allegation unsubstantiated. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Little foggy is what I meant to say here on this Tuesday morning. It is 6:03 and 66 degrees. The St. Louis Police Union accuses Mayor Kara Spencer of trying to negotiate officer pay while at an officer's funeral. Spencer denies it, saying in a statement, "To say our conversation was a debate about benefits is deeply and dangerously inaccurate." The debate allegedly happened when the mayor and officers were attending the funeral for the 26-year-old officer last week who died by suicide. A St. Louis judge has ordered the arrest of former presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein after she failed to appear in court for a 2024 assault charge. Stein, who was a candidate for the Green Party, was charged following a pro-Palestine protest on Washington University's campus. Investigators say Stein and other protesters refused to leave after multiple warnings. According to court documents, Stein also injured an officer by repeatedly kicking him. Several faith leaders gathered outside the St. Louis ICE office Monday, calling for more oversight of the 4 Missouri jails that hold illegals. They're also pushing for local leaders to end voluntary cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. And a quick heads up, there is still a boil advisory for several parts of St. Louis City. This is following this weekend's storms. It is expected to remain in effect until noon today. In sports, the Cardinals won the first game against the Reds, then lost the second, playing again today. 5:40 is their first pitch. And did you see the Associated Press put out its top 25 preseason college football poll? Missouri squeaked in at number 25. Illinois, not in the list. All right, coming up on 6:05 on this Tuesday morning, 66 degrees is our temperature downtown. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
You know, not a bad start to the commute this morning, although if you are an eastbound 370 driver, there's a little bit of volume in the construction zone, kind of as you head for 270. So it's a slowdown there, but then things open up. And really elsewhere, we are looking good at this hour. Even on the Illinois side. And of course, 64 westbound remains closed between 255 and 18th Street. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet Tuesday morning across St. Louis. Sunny skies, 89 for the high tonight. Clouds take over this evening. All is dry. Scattered rain and non-severe thunderstorms after midnight, 73. Wednesday, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms in the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and 84. Another front coming through Wednesday night with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Delightful Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
6 minutes after the hour right now, 66 degrees. Hey, you can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you wherever you go. Listen to the show any time of the day. You'll find it always on the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, welcome in on the 18th day of August, and man, it does not feel like the 18th day of August out there. Let me tell you, it's in the 60s this morning. It is glorious. I have a friend who, God bless him, he's part of this group that gets out and exercises in the morning. They meet at different locations, and they basically do physical training, PT, and they have been waiting for a morning like this. Can I just tell you that?
Yeah, I bet.
Because when it's so humid at 5 and 6 in the morning that you can feel the moisture in the air, it's got to be miserable out there this morning. So congratulations to anybody who's up and at it and exercising or heading out the door to work this morning. I know some of the road crews are probably already been on the job for a while because they want to beat the heat.
Or the kiddos who start school.
Or that's true. So how was Easton's first day?
No, he starts today.
Oh, I thought it was yesterday.
No, randomly. It's a half day today.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I'm sure other districts are going back. Either they went back yesterday or they're going back today sometime. Because I feel like a lot of them don't start on Monday.
So we're looking for all of the back to school photos today to fill up social media.
I already I actually, you know what? I didn't post Easton's because I'm debating about how much do I share anyway.
Yeah.
But I did share. I found a picture of me from when I was in preschool, my very first day, and I posted that.
I reposted one yesterday of my daughter from first day of kindergarten to first day of college. Like 13 years just went by like that. I can't. It's hard to believe. You'll wake up and Easton will be a senior in high school. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Not to depress you or anything this morning. I'm just saying.
Well, they always say you have 18, 17 summers with your kids.
Yeah.
And if you put it in that perspective, you realize how fast the time goes.
Enjoy it for sure because it definitely zips by. That's you just can't slow it down. a true fact of life. Coming up, we're going to get to our friend Mark Walters. I got people asking me what's going on with the assault weapons ban over in Illinois. We're going to get to that. The Supreme Court will decide that next year, by the way. The short answer on that is that'll get in front of the court in the next year or so. In the meantime, a court may have ruled positively when it comes to your ability to buy a suppressor. Suppressor is an accessory. Have you ever fired a gun with a suppressor on it?
I have once. Yeah.
Okay. It's all the difference in the world. It's not silent. It's not a silencer, but you can comfortably fire a gun without worrying about having ear protection on when you can have a can on the end of it. You can. But for some reason, back in the 1930s, the geniuses in Congress decided that needed to be against the law, and you needed to you have to go through them and do a background check and get registered in order to protect your hearing. I don't know what they were afraid of with suppressors, but they're not generally something criminals have ever used. So, except maybe assassins. I don't know. There aren't many of those running around.
I hope not.
No, there aren't. I mean, except in the movies. So we'll talk to Mark Walters about that coming up at about 7:35 this morning. We'll get to that. Right now, though, I want us to get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
Yep, that's me. Hang on here just a minute. I am nothing if not dependable when it comes to stopping fake audio from getting on the air.
Thank you. Sit, relax. Oh, boy, it's great to be back. They said you can't come home again, but here I am. And if you thought the president hated Jimmy Kimmel Live when it was hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, buckle up, people. Buckle up.
Yep, that was Rosie O'Donnell making her return to late-night television after 30 years sitting in for Kimmel. And every third word out of her mouth had something to do with Donald Trump. She is literally obsessed with him.
Their exports today are 0 barrels of oil per day. The United States military is bringing out 8 or 9 million barrels of oil per day. Is that America that's controlling what's happening there, or is that Iran controlling what's happening there? The data's pretty clear on that. That's America.
Thank you, Secretary Wright, for pointing that out, right? Hello, wait. Hello, oil market. Hello, people at QT by my house, where diesel was up to $5.19 a gallon this morning when I drove by. It went up 20 cents overnight.
This is political. If I said this about a black female conservative, any of the things that I said about Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, would we be having this conversation? Would you have given me the thumbs down award?
No. Stephen A. Smith, let me answer that question for you. They would not have. Next, they'll be calling you all sorts of names because you're not critical enough of Republican women, but you're too critical of black Democrat women. So they gave him a thumbs down award, and man, he unloaded both barrels on him. Hold on, that's me.
And so the left has been consumed by this. In fact, just this past week, the DNC adopted in their platform a resolution to abolish ICE. Okay, this isn't a bug. This is now a feature of who they are.
Yeah, did you hear that? The DNC, the Democrat National Committee, the committee that's broke for all intents and purposes. Now, that doesn't mean the Democrats don't have lots of money from Act Blue and all of that stuff. But as an organization, the DNC was about $2 million in the hole as of last month, I think, with the RNC spokesman the other day that we had on was talking about that. So they're broke, but they're putting together their platform for, I assume, 2026 midterms and the 2028 presidential campaign. And I'm sure that after standing up and apologizing for holding whatever meeting they held on stolen lands, they then announced that they were going to adopt as part of their platform. Scott Jennings was talking about this yesterday. The fact that They do not believe in ICE. Listen to Scott Jennings here.
Democratic National Committee has officially backed a resolution calling on Congress to abolish Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The measure passed the DNC's Resolutions Committee 25-12 and was later approved by the full membership as part of a larger package.
What's interesting is a lot of these Democrats are trying to distance themselves from the Democratic Socialists, saying if you feel like this, then we don't, back you on that, yada, yada, yada. But then you have the DNC doing that. So it is interesting. It's almost like the traditional Democrats, or however you want to describe them, are starting to inch closer and closer and closer to the socialist policies. Yeah,
yes.
Becoming more extreme.
To pacify them. And they want Medicare for all and all of these crazy things, but they won't come out and admit that, most of them.
Well, because they know it's not wildly popular. Not it's popular enough for these candidates to win a primary. Is it popular enough for them to win the general, the midterms?
So what's the difference? If a Democrat candidate is endorsed by the DNC, you can assume that's part of their platform. The candidate may not want to admit it, but if you accept that backing, you accept that platform. And I'm just going to go ahead and make the direct comparison to anybody on a local school board that was endorsed by the Missouri NEA or the National NEA. When you accept that endorsement, you accept that you are supporting the radical policies of that organization. And that's what you've got here. Listen to Tom Homan. I thought Homan was great on this yesterday, too. Listen.
So we're removing hundreds of thousands of criminals from their neighborhoods, make their neighborhoods safe again. But they can have an answer to abolishing ICE. Okay, ICE just found 151,000 missing children that were smuggled during the Biden administration. They lost track of. Some of these children were victims of sex trafficking. Some were forced into labor. We rescued those children, 151,000. So you want to abolish the agency that found 151,000 children. You want to abolish the agency that sees enough fentanyl kill every American 3 times over again. You want to abolish an agency that is attacking sex trafficking and women and children across that border. It just don't make sense. Again, we're making this country safe again. The numbers prove it. Simply look at the data.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at it any other way. If you do away with ICE, here's what they want. What they want is to do away with ICE so they can let local police agencies deal with immigration issues, which they hope that they won't. So what they're trying to do is stop enforcement of laws that they don't like instead of changing the laws. These are laws all of these Democrat politicians voted on to begin with, or at least a Democrat politician voted on it at some point. Bill Clinton, go back and look at the 90s. Bill Clinton, and even early on, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were in support of border enforcement. Not anymore. They've shifted very far to the left in this country. All right, quick break. We're back with the St. Louis Morning Brief.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for a slowdown for eastbound 370 drivers this morning in the construction zone, kind of as you head for St. Louis Mills Boulevard and 270. So it's just causing a slowdown there. But for the most part, we look good. 55 is in good shape. We're great on eastbound 70 and 64. Quiet on the Illinois side as well, at least at this hour. We're looking good. This report brought to you by Midwest Gun Works. For nearly 3 decades, firearm enthusiasts have trusted Midwest Gun Works for hard-to-find parts, expert gunsmithing, and quality gear. Your next build or repair starts here. Shop MidwestGunworks.com or visit Midwest Gunworks in Peevely, Missouri. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, so you've got some great weather right now. Great opportunity to have my friends from Home Shield Foundation Repairs to your home and let them take a look at what's going on in your basement. They will get in there. They will be honest with you about what's happening. They will look at the source of the problem and then address it. And that's the most you can ask for from anybody. Now, if it's a salesperson who walks in there, they're going to be looking for things that aren't directly addressing the problem, but addressing their pocketbook. That's not what's going to happen with Matt Hayes. He will find the crack. He'll find the leak. He'll say, this is what I have to do to fix this. This is what I'm going to work on. They get it fixed. He gives you a lifetime warning, and he moves on. And he stands behind his work. He's been at this for 20-plus years now. He's a foundation specialist, as he describes it, not a foundation sales guy. He's the owner of this small family-run company, and he will take care of you if it's putting in a sump pump or whatever it takes to waterproof your basement, which is the goal. It's a big empty swimming pool. Somebody's got to make sure water doesn't get in it. That's Matt Hayes. Call him at 314-271-9900. Ask about his 2-year interest-free financing that he's offering right now. Tell him Mark sent you. Go to HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Today, the Cards, the Reds. Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:40. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
Suffering from knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, or tennis elbow caused by arthritis, inflammation, or an injury? STL Joint Relief, now open in St. Peter's, offers a non-surgical, non-narcotic solution that can provide lasting relief. Using advanced ultrasound guidance, we pinpoint the exact source of your pain, allowing for precise treatment that targets the problem, not just the symptoms. Best of all, STL Joint Relief accepts all insurance. Learn more and schedule your appointment at stljointrelief.com.
Cam Jansen here. Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center in the South Hall. Over 30 American-made units on display, immediate delivery, and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
The time now is 6:20, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. It appears people want more oversight and ice. Kim and Mark are going to delve into it in the St. Louis Morning Brief.
St. Louis Morning Brief.
Yeah, they're calling this a vigil outside the St. Louis ICE office downtown, saying that they want more oversight at the 4 jails across the state of Missouri that supposedly house people for ICE.
Who's covering this, by the way? Who covered it?
Which outlet?
Yeah.
This is Channel 4.
Oh, my God. Like, I've always wondered about these. When 10 people show up at something, if the media didn't show up, would it make any noise at all? I mean, honestly, we've covered this story. We know that Channel 4 should know the only reason they're doing this is because they oppose the current administration. They have zero evidence of any wrongdoing at any of these facilities, including the one down south that where we had the interview with the sheriff down there, the undersheriff, talking about the fact that none of this is true. They have repeated inspections of these facilities regularly to make sure they're getting proper food, proper prenatal care, all of these issues.
Well, the group organizing this vigil, they're also pushing for local leaders to end voluntary cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, including jail contracts and local police assistance.
This is why people start ignoring local media. They should. That you even play along with this garbage. It just gives these idiots legitimacy. That's all it does.
The concern also from the group relates to flock cameras. So in March, the Dutchtown neighborhood had ended its flock safety contract because there were concerns about immigration data sharing. I mean, who's really doing that? So I guess they're that concerned about all this stuff that they just say, let's just take away the cameras altogether. Speaking of flock cameras, because we've been talking about them a lot, who was it? Oh, it was Fox 2 goes out and does this article that says MAP reveals over 1,000 flock cameras in the St. Louis area.
And that's, bear in mind, that's like the term Band-Aid. There are a lot of different companies that do this besides Flock. That's just one of the companies. But license plate readers is what they're talking about. There are over 1,000 cameras.
Yeah, so it says that, and they're looking at this map called DFlock that you guys listening, you could go to that now. But it says it currently shows between 1,400 and 1,500 automated license plate reader cameras in view across the greater St. Louis metro. Almost 70% of those, they say, are identified as Flock safety cameras. Because like you said, there are a couple other companies that have these cameras, but about 1,000 of them, they say, are Flock.
Well, I mean, again, you have to go to your local municipality and complain about this, and I don't think you're going to get anywhere. I really don't. I think that as long as you've got the guidelines in place for proper use by law enforcement, I'm not sure these things are going away.
No,
unless you can
anything-
find proof that they're abusing the system. But in the meantime, you're probably tracked just about everywhere you go if they wanted to.
Well, and I mean, the Flock CEO just came out and said, look, we're not sharing this data. It's not like we're taking, any audio. If you're walking by and it picks up on that, it's not like it's transcribing your audio. So they're trying to kind of squash some of these concerns that we've seen nationwide. Police, of course, it's been abused. It has been. But the whole idea is that it's supposed to help them solve crime. To piss the person off who says I can never take a stance, I have mixed feelings about them. Yes, I do. I have mixed feelings, and I stand by that. All right, moving on. The city's police union is accusing St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer of approaching a group of these young police officers who were at another officer's funeral and asking them about pay and benefits.
At a funeral?
At a funeral. So this is last week. They were at a funeral for one of the officers, 26-year-old Kevin Bradford, who unfortunately committed suicide. And they're claiming, the union's claiming, that Kara Spencer walked up to these officers and started a little debate about benefits and pay. Because it's obviously been very, very tense between...
Did she know them?
I don't know if she
it
knew
almost
them
wonders.
personally,
I mean,
but-
if she had a personal relationship with them, that's one thing. But to do that at a funeral is clearly not appropriate.
Well, she, of course, denies that it ever happened. She says, I'm disappointed and, saddened by the statement. She says that the conversations were mischaracterized. And she also says, to say our conversation was a debate about benefits is deeply and dangerously inaccurate. Now, the police chief says, look, I wasn't there for the conversation, but I did have some newer officers, like new recruits, who came up to me and told me that this is what happened.
Oh, so the chief has chimed in on it
The
at this
chief
point.
has, that's essentially the extent of it. He says the only conversation that matters right now is how we look out for one another within our department and throughout our community. So he kind of flipped it to the whole, let's focus on the funeral and why we were there in the first place and not the whole debate about money. But this is not going to stop because you have the Board of Police Commissioners. She's mad about that. She's the only one who's not appointed by the governor. So she kind of already stands out from everybody.
Right.
And she's been at odds with them over how much money should they be getting. It's just tense.
I'm sorry, but it's spelled out in the law, and it may take the courts to figure it out, but the law says that about 25% of your budget shall be committed to public safety. And they can try to defund the police all they want, but at the end of the day, the city's going to have to pay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're going to try to every year make that as small amount as they can.
Right.
And that's why they hate this.
Yep.
Because what the state did was lock in funding effectively, and they can now not defund the police, which is part of the DSA platform. And I don't think Kara's officially part of that wing, but we know
not far off.
We know the president of the Board of Aldermen is. So.
Yep. Last one, Wright City residents are suing the city trying to stop this new industrial plant. It's a proposed, I guess proposed plant that
it's
would...
not proposed.
Okay, so
I
I
was
guess you're
told
saying
it was approved last year by the Wright City Board.
58 acres, an asphalt plant, and they're mad because it's going near a new school. It's not even a data center. People just don't want anything like this going in their community. I guess they feel like it's an eyesore. It's too close to the school. It's like smack dab in the middle of their community. So they actually ended up they had a planning and zoning commission meeting, and they had to table it, postpone a vote because it got so hot, so heated at this meeting.
I heard it had tentatively been approved about a year ago, and they've been going back and forth on it. So I don't know if they can stop it at this point or not.
Says they're revisiting the asphalt plant consolidation next month.
Or was it Festus where they recalled half the members of the council because they didn't like the way they voted?
Was
So
it
where
Festus?
was it Festus?
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere down south. I know that. Maybe
Farmington?
that happens. Maybe that happens in Wright City.
Festus Farmington.
I don't know.
One of those two.
Well, yeah, one of those two. All right, coming up, we're going to get to our friend John Lamping. Stay tuned.
I want to talk about Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com. There are 3 good reasons you should talk with Greg. 1, your health insurance premium is too high. Well, Greg saves most people 30 to 60% on their monthly premiums. 2, your deductible is too high. Well, with most of Greg's plans, you will have no deductible or out-of-pocket expenses. 3, your doctor doesn't take your plan. Well, you can use Greg's plans at most any doctor or hospital in the country. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years' experience, at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. Greg will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government. Because you don't know what you don't know about your health insurance coverage.
You know what? Yesterday, my friends from Grasser came over, and my friend Sean, and was helping me out with some electrical questions I had and issues at the house, put in a new outlet for me, and it was great. Had a great conversation with him about what they're doing at Grasser these days, and they say good to see you, and the thing about it is it's an organization that's been around 50 years, and it's just somebody you can depend on. You can. You go to callgrasser.com. If you've got electrical or plumbing issues, they're going to send somebody out to your house, like Sean, who's helped me now at 2 of my residences and is just a great guy, and you're going to get to know him, and they're going to give you honest advice on what's going on at your house and the best way to get it taken care of. You can depend on them. No job too big or too small, electrical or plumbing. Go to callgrasser.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning. We have looked pretty good on the roads, but we just had a report of an accident eastbound on 270 approaching West Florissant. So there's a bit of a delay there. But eastbound 70 looks great. Wright City into downtown. We're fine on 64. We look good on 44 as well. On the Illinois side, it's pretty quiet at this hour. Now, there's a little bit of a delay westbound on 64 approaching the closed part of 64. Westbound 64 is closed between 255 and 18th Street, and that's causing just a bit of a slowdown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, when it comes to your home, what are you doing to protect the outside of it? If you're not considering Rhino Shield when you're recoating or covering the outside of your house, I really think you're missing out on a great opportunity. It outlasts any regular old thin paint that you're going to find at one of the big box stores by, 5 times maybe. If you have to repaint every 5 or 6 years and you get a warranty suddenly that lasts 25 years, that's what sets it apart, right? When Darren came to my house, I had to cover up my siding, and I needed something that was going to waterproof it and keep water from getting into it. This stuff's 100% waterproof. Plus, you get a 25-year warranty. It will permanently bond to aluminum, vinyl, steel siding, wood, brick. It's Class A fire rated. It won't burn. There are just thousands of color choices. I don't know what else you can do. Go on to their website. Go to 877-25rhino.com. Read some of the reviews, because I feel like I could have written all of them. The service was outstanding. They were there the better part of a week. They got all the prep work done and put 2 to 3 coats of this beautifully durable Rhino Shield on my house, and it lasts. It's gorgeous. Upgrade your game. Get some Rhino Shield on your house. Get your free evaluation now at 877-25RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333 Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. 250 years of capitalism, private ownership, and rugged individualism. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. People keep looking to government for the answer, and government's the problem. Government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks. We'd never miss him.
Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want?
All right, we've got former Senator John Lamping on the line this morning. John, great having you back. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have you. You know, yesterday we had the story about gaming, online gaming in Missouri, and I thought it was funny that these people were all in on online gambling, and they did an end run around the legislature because they wouldn't approve it quickly enough. So now it's ensconced in the Constitution. And they realized when they put it in there that, well, there are gambling addicts, and this could cause problems. So we'll contribute $5 million a year to a fund to make us feel better about all the people that are going to end up addicted to gambling and wasting too much money. And now they're upset that not enough of that $5 million is being spent every year.
Yeah, they're disappointed that there aren't that many addicts. Well, just give it time. Most of this takes a lifetime before it surfaces. I thought one of the more interesting aspects of this whole conversation, though, had to do with the fact that when the casinos came online, they did the same thing. They set aside money to deal with addiction, gambling addiction addicts, and they too have had very little people come forward. And so, this is what goes on. This idea when you do a ballot initiative in particular, you try to put things in it that somebody out there would think is a good idea. If you look at the online, the gambling bill, the gambling initiative, it passed by 4,200 votes. So somewhere out there in some suburb, there's somebody who said, "Well, I'm not sure about this one, but at least the addicts will have a place to go, and I'll vote for it."
Or we'll be giving what was $100 million a year to schools, which of course will never ever happen in the history of mankind. Will they get the kind of money that Ozzy and some of these other celebrity endorsers promised out of that bill?
Yeah, I mean all of the initiative petitions are just to go to where the money is. I mean, all the other things that are attached to it are, like I said, just to get the last 4,200 people to vote for it. Any money that's supposed to be directed to schools, I mean, it's not even a hidden thing in the legislature. They know exactly that it's just that much less they're going to have to budget for schools. Now, having said that, I don't know to what degree you're aware, but Missouri crossed the $20,000 mark last year, where we spend $20,400 per public school student K through 12 here in the state of Missouri. And that's due primarily to the fact that, our student population is declining while all the fixed costs keep rising. So can you imagine we're spending over $20,000 a year and we don't even rank in the top half of performance?
I think part of the problem with government spending, and that's crazy, that statistic you just said, because I'd never heard that. It's higher than I thought for sure. But part of the problem is it feels like they have this money allocated, and I'm sure it's more complicated to reallocate it. But it's almost like, okay, well, we don't know what to spend it on, so we're just going to find something to use it for. Like in this case, for the gambling stuff, they're doing community surveys. Like it just feels like this is when you need Doge to come in and slash it and say, look, we thought this was going to be used for this. It's clearly not as necessary as we thought. And so let's reallocate it. Why is it such an issue? Is it just all the red tape to try to reallocate that money?
Well, the minute that you try to reallocate it or doge it is when you'll get some left-leaning attorney will file a lawsuit, and they'll say, hey, the people voted on this, and it's part of the Constitution that this money has to be allocated there. You know, in the end, that money, like what's interesting now is that obviously Republicans are in control. And Marc O'Meara, who's in charge of the Gaming Commission, is somebody I served in the legislature with. And, you know, he's kind of logically and methodically going about building this program out. It's, ironically enough, they spend the most money, I think, on making people aware of the fact that they exist.
Yes.
But you know, if and when we ever have a moment in time where the Democrats are in charge of the legislature, what they will do is they'll just allocate this money to pre-existing non-for-profit groups that very left-leaning people will be in charge of. And much like USAID was kind of a farce where all these quote-unquote non-for-profits were receiving federal dollars, if in fact the Democrats are in charge here in Missouri ever, then they'll be doing the same thing. They'll allocate those dollars to left-leaning non-for-profits.
And lo and behold, that was exactly the criticism of it in the article. They could have given this to existing organizations that then could have funneled some of it back to our candidates, probably. It would have been the short answer on that. You know, John, we've been talking about Amendment 3. We had somebody on from Live Action yesterday talking about these efforts around the country. We have a unique problem on our hands here in Missouri trying to get people excited about voting yes on Amendment 4 and to fight to Amendment 3 and to fight the people who are going to be funded probably 4 or 5 times as much as the pro-Amendment 3 people to try to get people to vote against it. What role do the churches play in that? We reach out to the Archdiocese. The Archdiocese says it has issued
a statement saying vote yes on 3.
Yeah, so they're giving at least a little bit of attention to it. Will we see any of that, or should we be seeing some of that in church services on Sunday?
Well, for sure. You'll see, look, the fact of the matter is that, barely a majority of Catholics vote for candidates that are pro-life. In St. Louis County, for example, obviously the Catholics are overwhelmingly Democratic, and they're willing to vote for a pro-choice candidate. The church's position is very clear. They're 100% pro-life. There's no instance whereby they would approve the taking of an unborn child. And so what you have in the Catholic world is you have an entire spectrum of, to the left Catholics, to the right Catholics, to the hard right Catholics. And depending on who your pastor is and what type of church you're in, you'll hear that message. The church I belong to, same place that Pam Fichter goes, very adamant hardcore pro-life and very active in all pro-life issues. So you'll see the whole spread. In my mind, it's 2026. This is not an issue that people don't understand. They understand it very clearly. The job of the pro-life campaigns is to make sure that people understand this is this opportunity, and to understand that things like rape, incest, and life of the mothers, fallacious as they will be allowed. And then the culture is going to decide. And if in fact Amendment 3 does not pass, people like myself and the two of you will continue to advocate for the elimination of abortion. But at some point, the culture is going to get to a point where that's not, that they've moved on, that they've decided that it's okay that we live in a society where things like this occur. And what you'll see happen then, you'll see what's happening in Illinois now. This is the first year that Illinois has an assisted suicide law. And so the whole idea of the sanctity of life is in Illinois legally is a non-issue, that you can kill your unborn child and you can kill your very much alive grandmother, or she can kill herself. And if that's where the culture is, that's where it is. The job of the priest in the church is, of course, to advocate for Amendment 3, but more significantly to advocate for a change in people's approach to their daily lives that include respect for life that clearly is not there in as much of a higher percentage as all of us would agree should be.
Yeah. I'm not picking. Didn't mean to pick on the Catholic Church if that's how that came across. I think every denomination should get out and do this. If they interpret the Bible the way I do, they would never support abortion in any case. And I think that these pastors have a responsibility to do more than just get up and say, there's an election tomorrow, go vote. They need to suggest what's on the line. And I'm not sure that we're going to get that out of a lot of them. And I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah, well, it's, if every Catholic in Missouri voted for Amendment 3, Amendment 3 would pass. And in my mind, there's no reason why every Catholic shouldn't be voting for Amendment 3. But again, the job of a pastor or a priest, or all religious leaders, it doesn't begin and end with a vote in November. It's every single day, to the extent that they can influence their flock's lives in a direction where we're not even having these conversations. That, of course, this is ridiculous, that we would live in a society that would allow for the end of an unborn child.
Yeah, I agree. John Lamping, thank you, sir.
Great being with you.
Yep,
Take care.
You bet. Always. Thank you for your time this morning.
If the pastor's not talking about it, people will find their information from their friends, from social media like Instagram or TikTok. And I know that seems really crazy for some of you who are very plugged in politically, but keep in mind a lot of people are not. The vast majority of people, if you went and asked them basic questions, what's going on politically in our country, I think many, and I've talked to people like this, it's very overwhelming for people. It feels very heavy right now, and it has for years. So as almost like a coping mechanism, people have just kind of distanced themselves from it. They don't want really anything to do with it. They know who the president is and the vice president, and that's about it. They don't really care to know all the nitty-gritty stuff that you and I are this is kind of our life.
Well, I agree with that, and I understand that it's something that we focus on a lot. I don't know how you can, if you are a Christian and you read the Bible and you read Jeremiah and the other very clear statements that God knew you before he formed you in the womb, these pastors have a responsibility to tell people what's at stake in November. And that could be far more powerful than any millions of dollars that are going to be spent on advertising. If the people who are religious will go out and vote their conscience, this is what'll happen. That's what I would challenge your pastor the next time you see him. When you pass him after service, take him aside and ask him, when are we going to start talking about this? Because it's important that people understand. They've got to take a stand, in my opinion, or this thing's going to go down in flames, because about $50 million is headed to Missouri right now from godless heathens like George Soros and others in Bloomberg to try to defeat Amendment 3. And we've got to do something about it. All right, coming up, we're going to get to other news. We got Todd Piro and Mark Walters, because it is indeed 2A Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews are working with an accident on eastbound 270. This is approaching West Florissant. They've got the right lanes blocked. Only one left lane is squeezing by. I just put it up on X at Susan6768. But there is a jam behind it. So a delay through North County. But if you are westbound, all lanes are open and traffic is moving well. Southbound 61, picking up some volume, headed for 64 at this hour. But still mainly just moderate volume out there. Like northbound 270, moderate volume, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester. Still quiet on the bridges. Westbound 64 closed at 255 to 18th Street on the Illinois side, and a delay there. And on 5570, headed toward 111. This report is brought to you by i3 Broadband. Summer celebrations are here, and i3 Broadband keeps you connected. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So if you go to overheaddoorstlouis.com, here's your opportunity. They are offering a $500 rebate when you purchase a garage door. Now, for some people, that's a choice. For other people, it's a necessity. If your garage door has malfunctioned or you ran into it or your spouse ran into it, yes, that's happened in my house, and you have to get a new garage door, then you get $500, right? You get a $500 rebate. If you're just shopping around to try to improve the look and the beauty of your house, or maybe the energy efficiency, because you get a nice insulated garage door, and that few degrees difference in the winter or the summer can make a difference for you, then it's going to be a big addition to your house. It's going to add to the value and the curb appeal and all that stuff. Here's what they do at Overhead Door Company in St. Louis. They won't leave you stuck. They'll come out. They'll do maintenance on your existing garage doors as well, and they do it 7 days a week. They do same-day service because they understand if that thing's not working, it is putting a crimp in your day, whether it's your car's trapped inside or out, or you can't leave because of the security issue at your house. You need to get it fixed. One number, 314-781-5200, gets you to the original Overhead Door Company. Been around for 100 years now. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go online to overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Hey, it's Scott Jennings, and what does America mean to me here on our 250th birthday? The future of Western civilization. The future of human liberty. That is what is at stake in our world right now.
America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
In the Palm Beaches, we are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news. Sponsored by Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Well, a news team in Detroit was talking about the show Alone. Have you ever seen that? It's a survival show.
I have seen a little bit of it, and I've also watched Bear Grylls over the years where they drop him off and he has to survive in the wild.
Mm-hmm. Those shows are pretty interesting.
Yes.
Well, the conversation went a little south, literally and figuratively. This is what happened.
That is if you can provide yourself with food, and again, they're ice fishing because everything is frozen, and you're looking for fat in the beaver.
Yeah,
the beaver is the beaver is the most sought after.
It is.
Ryan, do you think you could eat beaver? It's fat and then it's meat.
He's just losing it.
It made them all sick, though. They all got sick after it.
Well, you can't eat diseased animals.
The guy couldn't recover.
He has his head down on the desk.
The guy couldn't recover. Yeah. She's trying to cover her tracks and say, how about a moose?
That's what she said.
The fact that it's on live TV is, yeah.
And it was on live TV.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That's rough. That is rough right there. So there's a story that's kind of gone viral. Fox had this on late yesterday about a bear trying to break into a cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's not unusual to see bears if you're in Gatlinburg, but they know how to open doors. Like the bear is working the handle on this door. It's standing up outside of this glass door, literally twisting the handle trying to get the door to open, and the people are inside filming it. They're not even freaking out. They're inside recording it. This happened one time to some friends of ours. They came out one morning, and the cover on the back of their pickup truck had been pried open, and something had been inside. And they're out there looking at it, trying to figure out if somebody vandalized their truck. And the guy in the condo right next to it came down and said, "We recorded this video last night. In the pouring rain, a bear had smelled that the guy had been deer hunting with that truck, and it ripped open the back of his truck and crawled up in there looking for food."
I wondered about that.
They're all over the place.
What was in that truck?
Yeah, that's what he smelled.
That's nuts. Mm-hmm. Arizona couple was arrested after stealing and then selling more than $6,000 in library books.
Oh, no.
So checked out $6,200 worth of library books, didn't return them, had 2 different accounts to do this, and then resold them.
Wow.
That's a lot of books for 2 accounts.
Yeah, how many books do you have to get to total $6,200? And it certainly was not, I mean, they had 2 different accounts, but it couldn't have been in one time going to the
right,
library.
You think they would have been flagged, like, hey, you haven't
Yeah.
bought back your 350 books that you checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Did you hear about the PBS station that lost all of its data? It says 9 PBS. And it says in this story that it mentions St. Louis specifically. They were paying a company to store a lot of archival data. The company is called Iron Mountain. And apparently somebody killed power to this data server, and they think they've lost nearly 70 years of archival materials and programming after the cloud storage vendor appears to have gone out of business.
Oh, can't imagine.
That is frightening. I remember when I was still at Channel 4, they were starting to transfer all of their old videotape over to digital just so they could try to retain as much of it as possible. Mm-hmm. But I would assume that's stored safely.
I would hope.
After something like that, you'd have questions, wouldn't you?
Yep, I would. New survey says nearly half of working Americans doubt they'll ever be able to fully retire.
Wow.
They just say because of the economy, they feel like, well, they don't have enough money, so they'll have to do at least some sort of like a side job once they're quote-unquote retired.
Be a greeter at Walmart or something like that.
People do that. Remember the story I shared of the guy who's like in his 90s and he's working the main seating area, whatever you want to call it, the main...
Like a Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was going to say, sometimes it gives you purpose anyway.
Well, that's
and
true.
these people last way longer than they would in a chair by the TV.
Yep. It fills them up to greet people and spread happiness, right?
Good point, Sue. Good point. All right, coming up, we'll get to our friend Todd Piro. He's been gone for like 2 weeks. We'll get caught up with him coming up. Stay tuned.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Marc Cox here. Celebrate the month of August with Zero Res. They're offering you 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $119. That's $106 in savings. You can book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
Ann's Bra Shop is hiring. If you're retired but tired of staying in your home, consider working at a fulfilling job at Ann's Bra Shop. Ann's Bra Shop is hiring sales assistant, clerks, and fitters. Join Ann's Bra Shop for the friendly atmosphere and the team players. Call 314-878-4144.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
It's a hoax. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump is telling voters in Alaska on primary day, warning them not to back an imposter in a Senate race with about a dozen candidates.
2 of them are named Dan Sullivan. Dan J. Sullivan, a retired teacher, and incumbent Republican Senator Dan S. Sullivan, who is seeking a 3rd term. And President Trump is up early this morning, already posting online, Alaska, be careful, vote for the real Dan Sullivan today.
Fox's Alex Hogan. The other Dan Sullivan insists his campaign is not a sham. Among those also trying to unseat Senator Dan Sullivan, former Democratic Congresswoman Mary Peltola. The top 4 in today's primary advance to November. There are also primaries in Wyoming and Florida, where Democratic Socialists are challenging 2 more House Democrats. Oliver Larkin hoping to unseat Congressman Jared Moskowitz, making immigration enforcement a big issue.
What it does is it endangers us. We do not need ICE to keep our communities safe.
In California, there's a special election to replace ex-Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. And the winner will be a Democrat. Aisha Wahab and Melissa Hernandez advanced in a June runoff to primary to today's runoff. Meanwhile, Fox's Todd Piro has an update on a Swalwell controversy.
Swalwell admitted to FBI agents that he had, quote, physical relations with suspected Chinese intel operative Christine Fang on a, quote, handful of occasions.
Though the ex-congressman is not facing any charges in that.
All of this unfolding months after Swalwell resigned from Congress and dropped his run for California governor after unrelated allegations of rape and sexual assault.
Still no end in sight to the conflict with Iran, which again this morning insists the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed for shipping the day after President Trump insisted.
We have total control over the strait. Now, they can be a nuisance. They can put a mine in the water, and people don't like having mines hit their billion-dollar ships.
Another ship was hit with another projectile today going through the strait. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250, micro. And yes, I told you so.
Hey, what a start here to this Tuesday morning. I don't think it could be nicer. Sunny, 66 degrees now at 7:03. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, and here's what's making headlines across the metro on this Tuesday, August 18th. The St. Louis Police Union accuses Mayor Kara Spencer of trying to negotiate officer pay while at an officer's funeral. Spencer denies it, saying in a statement, "To say our conversation was a debate about benefits is deeply and dangerously inaccurate." The debate allegedly happened when the mayor and officers were attending the funeral for 26-year-old Kevin Bradford last week. Unfortunately, he died by suicide. A St. Louis judge has ordered the arrest of former presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein after she failed to appear in court for a 2024 assault charge. Stein, who was a candidate for the Green Party, was charged following a pro-Palestine protest on Washington University's campus. Investigators say Stein and other protesters refused to leave campus after getting multiple warnings. According to court documents, Stein also injured an officer by repeatedly kicking him. Several faith leaders gathered outside the St. Louis ICE office Monday, calling for more oversight of the 4 Missouri jails that hold illegals. They're also pushing for local leaders to end voluntary cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Hey, a quick heads up, still a boil advisory for several parts of St. Louis City following this weekend's storms. That is expected to remain in effect until noon today. All right, in sports, Cards won the first game against the Reds and lost the second. That was a doubleheader yesterday, trying to make up for another game. Playing again today, 5:40 is your first pitch. And did you see the Associated Press released its top 25 preseason college football poll? Missouri squeaked in, barely coming in at number 25. Unfortunately, Illinois not in the list. All right, coming up on 7:05, or at 66 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we've got some moderate volume along northbound 270, mainly north of 44 up through Manchester. And things are thinning out on, it looks like it's eastbound 270. But we still have that accident approaching West Florissant. They've just moved the accident off to the right side some more. So more left lanes are open and traffic is thinning out. But it's a slow go through there this morning. This accident in the right lane approaching West Florissant. Now, westbound traffic is fine through there. Eastbound 70, a little slow at 141. 55 is still in pretty good shape. On the Illinois side, 64 westbound jams at 255. Of course, westbound lanes still closed between 255 and 18th Street. Northbound Route 3 is especially slow at Monsanto Avenue, and westbound 5570 is slowing just a little bit west of 255. This report brought to you by the fabulous people at the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Sue Thomas with traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet Tuesday morning across St. Louis. Sunny skies, 89 for the high tonight. Clouds take over this evening. All is dry. Scattered rain and non-severe thunderstorms after midnight, 73. Wednesday, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms in the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and 84. Another front coming through Wednesday night with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Delightful Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Well, you just heard Dave saying rain, so enjoy the nice weather now. I mean, this is a perfect start. We're in the upper 60s right now. It is coming up on 7:07. Just as a reminder, you can take along the show with you wherever you go. Listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show from anywhere, any time of the day on our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Good morning to you. Welcome back into the Marc Cox Morning Show. I was just in there in the break watching some of the network news coverage this morning, and they're finally starting to the main networks have not covered this yet. Fox reporting again this morning on the WNBA game in Atlanta where they forced those women to cover up their XXXY T-shirts.
That's unbelievable.
Because they still don't get it.
It almost feels so crazy that it didn't actually happen. Just the fact, like with all the stuff going on, with stuff that Sophie Cunningham is saying and yada, 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 all the pushback, doesn't it surprise you that they would have the audacity to do that? Don't you think that of all the times that they would be just a little more chill than it would be right now about a shirt like that?
No more than, it's no different than St. Louis City when they kicked the guy out for having a MAGA hat on. What they've got to try to do is be consistent if they're going to be such hypocrites, right? They made these women cover their shirts up, but they put a woman on the Jumbotron with a pro-trans kid shirt on. So they're just not consistent with their policy, and their bias bleeds through, and people can see it for what it is. I don't think anybody is fooled by the whole thing. I don't know how you could be. Anyway, if you missed that yesterday, that happened at an Atlanta game where Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham were on the court playing for the Indiana Fever. And, they won the game. Ultimately, these two women showed up to support Sophie and got they were forced to wear another T-shirt to cover theirs up, or they risk getting thrown out. They were going to throw them out of the game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think so. But we'll see if that story goes anywhere or not. I don't think the WNBA gets it, and I don't think they want to get it at the end of the day. All right, coming up, we're going to get to Todd Piro. I can't wait to talk to him about this. Everybody knows that drugs are available on most college campuses. I think that's something that's been going on since college campuses were created. But what happened at Penn State is just killing me, and Piro is covering that story today for Network News. So they busted a couple of fraternities up there for basically not just distributing cocaine, but like they're not making it, but they're preparing it at the fraternity houses and they were accused of making pledges participate.
How can you be pledging for that frat and think,
I don't know.
I'm preparing coke? This seems like a really good fit.
I think I'm going to I'll cut this up a little finer before I put it in the bag, and that way maybe they'll be happier with me, my pledge father, whoever that is.
I think one of the frats was Delta Upsilon. I was not in a sorority, but I remember joking. I didn't come up with this, but they would say Delta Oops, I signed. Did you ever hear that?
I did not. I heard a lot of different things that I can't repeat on the radio about different fraternities and sororities over the years, but not that one. The other one was Sigma Chi, I think, was involved, which Penn State was quick to point out. Sigma Chi is not officially recognized on our campus, so I don't know if they've already been kicked off at some point in the past. Just hilarious. We'll get to Todd coming up in a minute. Mark Walters a little bit later. A couple of big stories. There's an effort underway by the Trump administration to help people who have had their gun rights restricted because they've been convicted of a felony at some point in their lives. They've actually made a website available that you can go to apply for this. And obviously they're keeping a close eye on people that were convicted of violent felonies and things like that. But still, they are making this path available. And I'm going to talk to Mark about this at the bottom of the hour. And then, of course, next hour, we're going to talk to Ryan Wiggins, and we'll have a great opportunity for you to help out the folks at Folds of Honor that's coming up in early September. So pay attention for that. Stay tuned for that. We'll get to all of it. Right now, Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
It was so exciting, Alex, to campaign in Michigan and Minnesota for Peggy Flanagan and Matt Little in Minnesota, and then for Abdul El Sayed in Michigan.
Yeah, birds of a feather. That's one of the squad members at Jayapal there, bragging about going and campaigning for the left-wingers, right? The people that want to defund the police and ban anything to do with Israel from the United States, no funding, and of course squad members are right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it is. That was a CNN fake report. The Lincoln has been out there for a period of time, good period of time, but over the years we've had them out there much longer.
Yeah, the president yesterday calling out the news media for blowing up this story about the USS Lincoln, about people jumping off the ship because they couldn't stand the food anymore. It was all fake news.
And so the left has been consumed by this. In fact, just this past week, the DNC adopted in their platform a resolution to abolish ICE. Okay, this isn't a bug. This is now a feature of who they are.
A feature of the Democratic Party these days, probably going to be in their platform, to defund ICE and disassemble the organization put in place to go out and carry out the laws written by the United States Congress.
I think the days of 4, 5, 6% inflation are well behind us. Incidentally, it was exactly 4 years ago today, Stuart. 4 years ago today under Biden, we had 9.1% inflation.
Yeah, inflation and some good job numbers that came out yesterday. We had the good inflation report from last week, and then we had good job numbers yesterday. That show in terms of economic numbers, in terms of new jobs about to be produced, they're expecting this to be, good. And I loved yesterday what he was talking about there. That was Steve Moore, the economist, about the days of it was the Joe Biden administration that brought you 9, 10, 11, 12% inflation. Cumulatively more than that over his 4 years, obviously. We're still paying for it today. The fact that there were polls out there where people, I almost laugh saying it, where people actually believe the Democratic Party would do better at handling the economy. The people that brought you 21% inflation, are you kidding me? And the Republicans have got to do a better job with marketing this. Don't you agree? I mean, they have to. They have to do a better job of explaining what they've done so far. I heard Scott Jennings talking about it a little bit yesterday as well, that they've got to make their case for what's going on positively. Listen.
I do think Democrats have made a huge mistake with Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan, but I think all these races are going to be close. I think the Republicans do have good candidates, and I think the Republicans are going to have plenty of resources, and I think they've got a story to tell. Just Friday, we learned that for the first time in 60 years, prescription drug prices are falling. Every single politician, everybody here has ever worked for us said they were going to do it. Trump and the Republicans finally did it. There is a story to tell, and there is a bright line contrast to be had in this election. It's not good enough just to call them socialists. You have to say what you've done, and you have to say what the impact of their policies would be. But I think we've got enough candidate quality and talent to do that.
Yeah, you have to draw that line, to Jennings' point, and the Republicans have not done a great job on that so far. Hopefully, they're going to spend a lot of that war chest that they've developed over the next 2 months pointing out those exact differences so people aren't fooled when they go to the polls.
Gas prices are not helping them. You can sit there and tout the economy's great. Yes, 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 jobs. But if people feel like every week when they're filling up their gas tank that it's more, that doesn't help them. And you know what? A lot of these politicians say, I did this, and under my administration and my leadership, this was low and this was great. And so it kind of falls on deaf ears because there's an easy way to spin stuff. And I'm not saying the Trump administration is spinning it. I'm just making the broad statement that a lot of politicians do that, right, to make it look like they've done a really great job. So then when you actually have done a great job, it's kind of like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where you feel like, really, is it as great as you're kind of making it seem?
Yeah.
At least that's what goes through my brain.
They need to do what the Democrats do with their talking points. They distribute them daily, and they distribute them to the media, and they parrot them, and the Republicans do not do a good job of that at all, in my opinion. All right, coming up, we'll get to the man, the myth, the legend, Todd Piro, who the last time I saw him had almost a full beard. We'll find out what he's doing when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the Illinois side this morning, westbound 5570 slow, approaching 255 to just a little bit west of there. And we're a little bit busy eastbound 64 right at the 70 split. And, of course, eastbound 64 jams approaching 255 as well. That, of course, is because 64 westbound is closed between 255 and 18th Street. On the Missouri side, northbound 270, slow pockets 21 on up through Manchester. Southbound 61 out west, slowing, just moderate volume. Headed for 64. We are now quiet through North County. That accident earlier has been cleared. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, buying or selling a home in St. Louis, really, it's rarely guaranteed, right? You walk into that situation and you worry. You want to sell your house. You know you should be able to sell your house. Are you going to leave money on the table? What do you price it at? All these are questions that every home seller has. Call my friend Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, and she's going to have the answers for you. She understands your neighborhood. She's been at this for 20-plus years. She knows what's going on in the St. Louis market, and she's got guarantees that nobody else has. It's that simple. She really does. She will promise to sell it for 100% of market value or pay you the difference. That means you're not leaving money on the table. Or she'll promise to buy it if she can't sell it. Now, if you're in a situation where you have to sell by a certain date because you need the money to buy the next house to close, that's important. Having that peace of mind is so important, and nobody, in my opinion, in town is better at it than Gloria Liu. She's my real estate agent. I think you should make her your real estate agent, and there's no obligation to call her and have that conversation. 314-325-6888. Tell her Mark sent you, or go online to gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Today, the Cards, the Reds. Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:40. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting, no drama. Visit thegelmanteam.com to see what your home could sell for fast. Or give the Gelman team a call at 314-336-1991.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The time now is 7:20, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. We've got Todd Piro waiting in the wings. Let's get to him.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday says the operation involved large quantities of cocaine being brought from New York and Philadelphia, then allegedly cut, packaged, and distributed to students. Two alleged ringleaders remain at the center of the investigation, including 24-year-old Agostino Abatiello.
I am the smartest man alive! I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to life than being really, really good looking.
He's all right, I suppose, if you like dark, handsome, rich-looking men with passionate natures and too many teeth.
Well, he's young and he's handsome. He's a real gentleman. You know, not one of these grabbers.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Pyro, Todd, welcome back, my friend. And I guess they've got something new to put on the recruiting posters for Penn State, huh?
So here's the deal. I'm in a crappy mood right now.
Oh, sorry.
There are two reasons, and they're all related to this story. One, the script was written horribly. And I'm just going to call out. Like, you may say that's not classy of you, that's not mature of you. I'm in a crap mood. Like, we got one job, write the script. Anyway, that's not really why I'm upset. I'm upset because I'm mad at myself.
Because you wrote it?
You wrote it?
No. Valid point. That almost beats the second joke here. I pussed out, if I can say that. I can't think of a different way of saying that, on a joke that I wanted to make every single time I read that. And here it is the following. Ready? Here we go.
Hit it.
For those of you that watch college football, you know Penn State is known for its whiteout games. Well, now they're known for a different kind of whiteout.
That would have been great.
Was Hunter Biden a graduate there? Because maybe he was helping him package it.
Also solid. Well, I mean, he was known for his expertise in certain things like art and distribution.
The fact that it was being operated out of two different fraternities and distributed on the campus, by the pledges, like it used to be, you could just bend over and get paddled, and these days you have to deliver Coke to the various fraternity houses.
Mark, tell us more about the times you were bent over in the fraternity house.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? I think is how that went in Animal House, right?
Yeah. What's wrong with us?
I feel like we should change the subject. So, Todd, have you seen the updates on ChatGPT? Actually, for real, though, this is interesting that ChatGPT just came out and introduced ChatGPT for teens, where they're going
literally on Fox.
Yeah. They're having quiet hours when ChatGPT is unavailable, or I guess they call it study hours when it's supposed to deter the teens from being able to use it
from
or cheating. But
okay. The problem is none of these things ever work 100%, and I think that I shouldn't pass judgment. Okay. I shouldn't pass judgment. Let's hope it works, and that's all I'll say about that. But find me a time where these things have been, completely perfect, and I'll wait a long time for that answer. What
do you think life's like for law students these days, Todd? As somebody with a law degree, I mean, does all of this stuff? It's got to be tempting when you've got to go back and research and write all this stuff. I mean, you've got things at your fingertips now we didn't have 20 years ago.
Yeah, yes and no. And I'll say this. Oftentimes for law school exams, you can bring in everything you want. Bring in all the books. Bring in all the law. Because in the real world, you can have access to all that stuff anyway. It's not about knowing the law. It's about issue spotting and applying the law. And so, and also within time constraints. So to my point is, on an exam in law school, bring in everything. You're not going to have time to actually sit there and parse through it. That's, I think, the difference with a ChatGPT, because it's instantaneous. So it's really incumbent upon these exams, if you're allowed to incorporate all the stuff that you will be able to incorporate in practice, it's really incumbent upon them to make every activity 100% an application and not a knowledge activity.
But just think, we could have technology down the road that would be able to, in a trial, record the audio, and then you have the attorney who's waiting to cross-examine the witness, and it's recording everything, and then you would ask Chat, what's a good follow-up question? And on the spot, it would be able to do it. So theoretically, people might not need lawyers as much because ChatGPT would be its own lawyer for you.
Yeah, ChatGPT can't do the feel.
No, that's true.
It's a feel. Look, I'm sure ChatGPT could come up with a lot of questions that I do on a day-in-to-day basis just for my job, right? They're not rocket science. But it's the feel, and it's not necessarily just based upon the information that the person gives me in their initial answers. It's about a feel. And ChatGPT, I don't care what you say, it's never going to be able to replicate that feel.
I would agree with that completely. Todd Piro, our guest, host of Fox and Friends First. The last social media picture I saw of you, you looked like you were on an island in Survivor. You had about a 10-day growth of beard, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
That was 7. I'm a real man. That was 7, brother. That was 7.
Did you have a good vacation?
Yeah, we had fun. The kids can now swim, and they went from last vacation like being scared to touch the water. Now they're like a little too overconfident, which I guess is a good thing. But somewhere in the middle, if we could get there, boys or girls. I have girls. I should know that. We'll be in good shape.
At some age, when they're that little, they prefer the pool. Didn't you say, Kim, your boy kept wanting to go to the pool?
He just wanted we were at the ocean in Florida. But Easton is so confident. He's been doing swim lessons, so he just jumps in the pool. I'm like, buddy, you don't have floaties on. Like, you're learning to swim, but you can't swim just yet.
I love it. It's that kind of fortitude that allows you to save a young man at the beach and go to the White House
Yeah,
with Trump.
there
so
you
he
go.
doesn't tax a CNN reporter.
Yeah, that was intense.
We saw that. Shut up. Quiet.
Quiet.
He kept saying,
Quiet,
quiet.
piggy.
That was funny, I guess. Sort of uncomfortable, but funny. All right, Todd, good to have you back, my friend. Thank you.
Have a great week.
All right, we'll see you now. Thank you. Yeah, no school's good. They're all going to ban the whiteout after this thing at Penn State, aren't they?
Brother.
Don't want to do that anymore. Boy, what a mess. All right, coming up, we'll get to Mark Walters. We'll talk about the new effort by the administration to help convicted felons get their gun rights back. Back in a minute.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Well, there are a lot of things you can put off in life when it comes to home maintenance. A wet basement is not one of them, folks. You need to get my friends at Home Shield Foundation Repairs on the job and get that thing fixed once and for all. You can't lose sleep every time it rains, knowing you're going to wake up to moisture in the basement. It can ruin your belongings. It can cause mold, all these different issues. With Matt Hayes, he's going to come over, unlike these big corporate-owned entities, and not try to sell you a waterproofing package. He's going to address the problem. He said, I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to let the basement speak for itself, and then I'm going to tell you what it's going to take to fix it. And when he's done, he hands you a lifetime warranty. I don't know how you beat that. How do you get something better than that? You get it fixed, you get 24 months, same as cash financing if you qualify, and they'll get it taken care of. 314-271-9900, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We have picked up some volume here this morning. And southbound 61, a little bit slow at 70. But 6440, it's a slow go. Now, it's mainly moderate volume, but this is approaching Clarkson through, looks like 270. Then you get a break, and it slows again at the Interbout. Now, northbound traffic on 270 is lined up, especially, and it hasn't been reported yet, but I'm seeing a jam. I wonder if there's not an accident approaching 21, and then slow pockets from there up through Manchester. Now, if you're a 55 driver, multiple construction zones, and it's a little slow through the Herculaneum area today. So as you head toward Highway M, it's a slow go. And on the Illinois side, of course, the closure of westbound 64 between 255 and 18th Street causing a delay, both on 64 and on 5570. And westbound traffic on 270, some moderate volume right now at 111. This report is brought to you by i3 Broadband. With the kids home, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber and i3 Broadband is here for you. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Great deal right now with Zero Res. 3 rooms cleaned for $119, right? How about that? Now, that's $106 in savings right off the bat, and you've got Zero Res in your home, taking care of it, making it as clean as it can be without the harsh chemicals, without all the soapy water that some of these other companies are going to come in and use on your carpeting. Zero Res is different. Go to ZeroResSTL.com. You'll see the difference. You can see it on their website. They don't use the harsh chemicals. They don't leave the residue behind, and they can zero resify just about anything in your home. Your area rugs, obviously your carpet, but they can do upholstery, they can do tile, they can do hardwood, they can do your vents in your house, right? Your ductwork, and get that cleaned out because if you've got allergens and allergies, they can hide in there. It's sort of the lungs of your house. Reach out to Zero Res today. Say, I want that $119 special. I want the 97.1 special. I heard Mark talking about it. Call them at 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Men, are you just not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. USMen'sMedicalCenter.com.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
The U.S. Justice Department now has a new website to allow for people who were once disallowed their Second Amendment rights due to felony conviction to apply to get them back. Restoration of Second Amendment rights will neither be guaranteed nor automatic. The process will, according to the DOJ, maintain strong presumptions against violent felons, registered sex offenders, or illegal aliens, and federal relief granted would have no bearing over state law restrictions. That website is at justice.gov/FFRR.
If you ban them in the future, the bullets will have been shot and there won't be any more available.
So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size? If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
Put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Mark Walters from Armed American Radio's Daily Defense with us this morning. If you're following us on the Window World webcam there, Simply the Best for Less, you can see his smiling face with his AAR shirt on. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys this morning?
We
Good morning,
are...
St. Louis. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning. We're doing great, my friend. You sound great, by the way.
Yeah, this studio stuff, isn't it? It's fun being in a radio studio, talking to another radio studio. It's like sitting in a room with you. It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
It is. It's really cool. The audio is amazingly different and better. Hey, had you heard that story about what the Trump administration is doing to try to restore gun rights to felons?
Oh, yeah. I covered it for an hour yesterday on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. But before I get into that, I've got to go here first. The last time we spoke, it was history for Second Amendment. The time before that we spoke, it was history for the Second Amendment. And the time before that we spoke, it was history for the Second Amendment. Think about this. The Hamani case, the Wolford case, Supreme Court taking the 2 assault weapons ban cases. And just last week, the National Firearms Act has taken a kill shot, and it's bleeding out in the woods as we speak. 92 years of gun control. History. Never did we think we would be here. I never thought I would be sitting here talking with you about it or talking about it on my program. And here we are, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns. Guys, calm down a little bit. It's all coming to a gun shop near you, and all you're going to have to do is get your background check and walk out with it.
Yeah.
It should never have been illegal to begin with, and here we are. The tax is gone. It's
I was going to get to it. I wondered about that because – I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. I talked to our legal expert about this yesterday, in fact, and he's like, well, the Trump administration, like the DOJ, could still appeal this, correct?
They have right now, I think it's about 52 days. The appellate court procedure gives 60 days to either side to appeal. But ask me if I think they're going to appeal it. They're not. They're not going to appeal it. In fact, we're expecting guidance coming out from Cicada, the ATF, and the DOJ later this week, and we'll know more as to how this is going to proceed, because FFLs have a lot of questions. Buyers have a lot of questions. Dealers have a lot of questions, as you can imagine. We're going to be getting guidance from them in the very near future. Little birds told me these things.
I see, yeah. Well, good, and that's good, though, because people need to understand it's not final yet. Like, you can't walk to go to your favorite gun store today and simply get a background check and buy a silencer or suppressor.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the final outcome of this, but it's headed in that direction, we hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely 100% is. So everybody just kind of tamp it down a little bit, relax. It's coming. It's the cavalry is on the way. You can hear the hooves right now. It's coming.
Is it a big deal that the Trump administration is trying to work with people who've been convicted of felonies?
It is, and that's a fascinating conversation. We could do 3 hours of radio on that all day long because there's so much nuance in here. Think about it. There's different levels of felonies, right? You got Big Fat Gert, who used to work in a business next door to mine in Tampa, Florida, who stole $3,000 embezzled from her employer. That's a felony. $1 less, it might not have been a felony. Lost her gun rights for the rest of her life. Didn't commit a violent crime. That was over 35 years ago. As of today, unless she's been granted clemency by the Florida governor, she is still banned from owning a firearm. Then you got the guy that I tried to buy a grill from a number of years ago, 22 years ago, Crazy Richard, I referred to him. I talked about him on the show yesterday, who said, hey, I know you're in the gun world stuff. Do you have an attorney I can talk to get my rights restored? I said, well, that means you committed a felony. Tell me about it. He said, yeah, I shot a guy during a robbery because he didn't comply with my demand that he get on his knees. I said, sorry. End of discussion. I walked away. But here's the question. He did his time. He served his 6 years. He paid his restitution. Should he get his gun rights back? That was a violent felony. If you ask the victim, who is now permanently disabled as a result of that, he's going to say, heck no. Or maybe he's had a change of heart. Maybe he would go to court and say, look, I know the guy. He's changed his life around over the last 30 years. He did his time. He should get his gun rights. Fascinating conversation all the way around, because where do you draw that line, right? Yeah. Where do you draw that line?
Well, it's not black and white. Like you said, it's so case by case, and everyone's going to have a different interpretation of that. Speaking of a different interpretation, I saw this crazy Abdul El Sayed guy that some video resurfaced, I guess posts he'd made on social media back in 2022 and 2023, where he was questioning the modern interpretation of the Second Amendment.
Of course.
The modern interpretation. Well, here's the thing. Guys, if you ever want to get a DUI, don't drink and drive. If you don't want to worry about whether you can restore your gun rights, don't commit a felony. If you don't want to worry about idiots like this guy, don't vote for commies. It's pretty much that simple. It's problem solved.
That's true.
Modern interpretation.
Well, he wants all the guns banned, just like in Illinois. They
so
want
does
everyone
Hillary.
to. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the Democrats do, but then you have these Democratic socialists. And Mark, you and I were just talking about this. Some of these like traditional Democrats, they're starting to move farther and farther left. Like they want to sit out there and say, oh, these DSA people, they're crazy and we don't adhere to that. But then as you see more and more of kind of where they are, they're shifting in that direction.
Yeah, and it's frightening because all of them want to take your guns. And Mark, you and I have asked this question together and on our show separately over the years. What is it about their agenda that requires my disarmament? So when you lay your head down and think about that tonight, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself that question. Why does the Democrat agenda require my being disarmed? It's about control. This is not about crime. It's never been about crime. It's about they can't control. How about the old interpretation of the Second Amendment, which our founders put into place so that we couldn't be controlled? That's the former and modern interpretation of the Second Amendment. And they're losing at every twist and turn, and it's been so fun to watch. Wait till 2027 comes along, and the gun grabbers just don't know what to do when all their gun bans are out the window. But they're planning for that now. That's why we have to keep our eyes open and keep our foot on the gas. Right
yeah,
here.
I agree. Just as a reminder, since you do cover some of this more often than I do, remind people what two cases they agreed to take at the Supreme Court. One of my listeners on social media asked earlier for an update on the gun ban in Illinois.
Yeah, that's the Viramontes Cook County gun ban case, and they agreed to take that case. They also tied that one in with the Connecticut Citizens Defense League case, the CCDL case. So these two cases are not being combined. The oral arguments are being heard at the same time. So it's going to be two separate cases, but it's going to be the same outcome, and we already know that. And I suspect Kavanaugh might get the opinion on this. I would love to see Thomas write it, because if he does, I think Thomas is going to go maybe a little bit outside the guardrails and see to it that we don't get more years of litigation, because here's what's going to happen at the state level, and I think Thomas would kind of try to stave some of this off. The state level, and they're already signaling this, that what they're going to do, they know they're going to lose this case, so what they're doing is they're trying to put these your regular modern sporting rifles, your AR-15s, of which there are more of than there are F-150 pickup trucks. They're clearly in common use, ladies and gentlemen, okay? They're going to try to put them behind a quote-unquote firewall, where they're going to require permits and training and all this nonsense, and you jump through hoops and spend a lot of this to exercise your rights once the bans go away. Then they'll say, okay, you can have them, but you have to jump through these hoops, and they're already signaling that right now. So I think Thomas might anticipate that. Hard to guess what the court's going to do. That's just my educated opinion, I think.
Well, if the Democrats win, then we could have, 14 Supreme Court justices?
Well,
that's true. You don't know.
A few more then. That's frightening.
Yeah, well, they're openly talking about that, and we don't listen to them at our own peril, okay? That's very important. We have to pay attention to what they're saying, because they do mean it. I believe they'll nuke the filibuster, and I absolutely believe they'll try to pack the Supreme Court, no question about it, because they're looking for ultimate power permanently. They want you gone. It's that simple. And they want you disarmed in the process.
They do. What do you got on the show later today, Mark?
Well, I'm probably going to be continuing the conversation about the National Firearms Act. You know, we keep saying that we've been making history with the Second Amendment. This is by far the single most historic thing that has happened. We can't. This restores the Second Amendment back to its original founding principle.
Right.
It's that simple. I don't know that you can get more historic than that. Maybe June of 2027, when all of this ties together and the NFA kill shot has been made, meaning, metaphorically speaking, that it's absolutely gone. The next thing and only thing left on the NFA would be fully automatic weapons, but we're willing to wait on that a little bit. Let's get this thing knocked out first, and then we can take that next step. Because, as I've said before, I believe I should buy, as a law-abiding citizen, a threat to no one except someone that's trying to harm me. I should be able to buy what I want out of a vending machine. We're getting that much closer, guys. We're getting that much closer.
Keep your fingers crossed. Remind people where they can listen to Daily Defense.
Yeah, armedamericanradio.com or .org. We've got them covered for you. And if I could take just 1 second, I want to let everybody know. I'll break this on your show. But the ink is now drying on a deal that we're working on. Armed American Radio is partnering with a television network, large television network out in Burbank, California. So if you like this mug, you're going to see a lot more of it coming up. If you don't, even better.
Nice.
Because you're going to see more of it. You're not going to be able to get rid of me. I'm going to be everywhere.
Congratulations. You're not going to have to move to L.A., are you, for goodness sake?
I wouldn't move to L.A. if it wouldn't happen in this lifetime. No,
you'd have to
no
leave,
amount of money would
You'd
take
have
me
to
out
leave half of your belongings behind.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen because I would never do it.
No, that's good. All right, Mark. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Congrats.
Good morning, St. Louis. Have a great day, guys.
You bet. Yep. Mark Walters there, a host of Armed American Radio. Always great to get him on here. All right, Kim, what's coming up?
Okay, Matt Walsh, man, I have a bone to pick with him. In fact, I'm so irritated with him. I actually unfollowed him yesterday. And, I think there are other conservative commentators, whatever you want to call them, who are falling into the same trap.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got volume out there this morning on southbound 61, mainly due to road work as you head for 64. Eastbound 70, some slow pockets headed for Wentzville. And then 64, I don't know if it's a sunshine slowdown. Oh, maybe just that school is kicking back in for some. But we are slow on eastbound 64, approaching Boone's Crossing, all the way through Mason. And then things open up and slow again at 170. Now, southbound 170, there was an accident reported south of Olive, some slow-moving traffic there and at 64. And westbound 64 is lined up, approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Southbound 270, it's moderate volume, but it's pockets now from Page down through just south of Gravois. And it was, by the way, an accident on northbound 270 that has slowed up traffic. It's just north of 21, and then slow pockets of moderate volume up through Manchester. Now, there was an accident reported northbound 55 just before the 44 split, and all the road work on the Illinois side causing delays. Westbound 64 at 255, 5570 westbound at 255 as well. This report brought to you by McKelvey Homes. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Looking for your forever home? Discover The Reserve by McKelvey Homes in Wildwood. Enjoy beautiful new homes, scenic walking trails, parks, a community fire pit, and top-rated Rockwood schools. All surrounded by the natural beauty of West County. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Ethan and I were just talking during the commercial break about how there's just rooms in our home we don't love and we'd love to redo it. And that's probably the same for you guys. You move in and you kind of have the rose-colored glasses on. Everything's amazing. You live there a few years and you realize, I'd really like to redo this space. It's just not working for me. And that's when you need to reach out to my friends at Lakeside Renovation and Design. This is a veteran-founded, family-owned company. They actually have a really beautiful showroom. You can go visit them in person, talk to one of their in-house designers. Actually, the whole team over there is in-house, not outsourcing, which I love. But you can talk to them about the latest trends and see what they offer, because they can do just about anything that you're wanting to do at your home, inside or out. So Lakeside does windows, siding. Lakeside could help you create a beautiful new custom kitchen with enough storage space finally, or redoing your bathroom so you feel like you're living in a luxury hotel right at your own home. Lakeside also could help you transform your backyard, finish the basement off so you have a great spot to host family and friends, have a cozy movie night. Whatever you're dreaming up, Lakeside can help you. Plus, they offer financing so that way you don't have to piece it together. You can just take care of it. Again, they're going to work with you and back it up with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Lakeside Renovation and Design, lakesiderd.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Marc Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile apps, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
42% of Missouri fourth graders can barely read. 42%. It's the worst result in 20 years. If kids can't read by third grade, they fall behind in school, and many never catch up. But other states have provided a roadmap for success. Missouri needs one universal reading test for all third graders and one clear statewide standard for what it means to pass that test. A struggling reader who still can't read after extra help and a second chance at the test should repeat third grade with some exemptions. We also need to end the outdated 3Qing method, which encourages guessing instead of reading, and require teachers to be trained in the science of reading. In Mississippi and Indiana, test scores jumped up dramatically after these reforms, and Missouri can do the same. Missouri children deserve to become confident, capable readers, and strong early literacy reforms can make it happen. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by the Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
All right, look, I have really enjoyed following Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. I appreciate his perspective. I love the movie he put out, where he pretends to be a liberal.
Right.
And just
Woke.
points out all the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stuff he's been posting recently has really started to bother me to the point where I actually unfollowed him yesterday. And maybe down the road, look, I'll be over it and I'll follow him again. I don't know. But for now, I needed a break from what he was posting.
Wow.
So just to give you some context here, he's talking about Lindsay Clancy. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, it's the woman in Massachusetts who is on trial right now for strangling to death her children. I mean, absolutely devastating story. She then apparently tried to jump out of a window to kill herself. She was paralyzed, so she's on trial. And a lot of moms are coming to her defense because the part of the trial is focusing on the fact that she was on close to a dozen medications. She was struggling with postpartum depression, had reached out about it, and was trying to get help. And the moms are trying to say, look, she was struggling, she needed help, and she really wasn't able to get that. There's so much support that Lindsay Clancy's parents have already raised close to $900,000 on a GoFundMe page.
For what?
Because they're living out of a hotel right now, and they have been for months, ever since Lindsay has been arrested and now going on trial, to be by her to support her. to fight the legal battle right now that they're fighting. Now, let me be very clear. Let me be very clear about this. In no way, like, regardless of your postpartum depression, in no way are you justified to go murder people, murder your children, okay? That is not okay. So there are women who are trying to justify it. I would not say it's justified, but this woman clearly needs help. And as someone who has had 2 children now, I can understand why postpartum is no joke. I have not struggled with postpartum depression, but I have, how do I describe this to you all? I've had dark thoughts. I have felt at times spiritually attacked when I've been postpartum. You don't feel like yourself. Your hormones are raging. And this is what Matt Walsh posts, okay? And there's a number of posts on this. Let's be very clear about this, he says. If you're a mother who's ever entertained the idea of murdering your own children or felt any desire to do so, it's not because you're the victim of postpartum depression. You aren't a victim at all. Nobody should feel sorry for you. You're not worthy of pity. You're a raging narcissist and you hate your children because they impose on your lifestyle. That's all, and you know it. It's not hormones. Hormones can't cause you to develop murderous desires towards your own offspring. Your soul is the problem. And then, of course, he understandably got a lot of backlash from conservative Christian women. And then he tries to defend it. People are reacting to this point and predictably ignoring the words a lot, much, and not just moms. Instead, they're pretending that I said postpartum depression doesn't exist and that every depressed person is selfish. This is the kind of blind hysterical panicking that makes it impossible to have any sort of a productive discussion about the actual reality of raising young children.
That was his reaction?
That's his reaction. Yell about it all you want, he says.
Could he have thrown calm down in there somewhere?
That might have made it a little bit better.
Might have.
Settle down, calm down.
Relax, ladies, relax.
It really irks me now. As somebody who used to make the argument with abortion that men shouldn't have a say in that, that's obviously a very, very stupid argument, and I can't even believe I used to think that. But for Matt Walsh to sit there and say like that your hormones aren't a factor postpartum, you sound like an idiot. You sound like an absolute fool. Have you ever been postpartum, Matt Walsh? Do you realize how challenging it can be mentally? You don't.
And I think no, that he doesn't. The first post I read from him, this was 13 hours ago, so I'm assuming it's in reaction to some of that pushback. He said, it's a picture. He's retweeted or re-X'd a video of this woman in the courtroom. He says, unspeakably evil. This whole thing has been eye-opening in the worst way. I will never be able to unsee thousands of women rallying to the defense of a demon who strangled her children to death. And one of the darkest things I've ever seen in my life, between this and the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser, we're getting a glimpse into a kind of a culture that cannot be easily waved away.
I understand his point, and there is a line, but he just is so out of line saying this about women.
Well, I do think suggesting that it wasn't a real that the depression itself could not cause something like this. I think he's right. Are demons involved? Probably some pretty dark demons. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I just have a problem with
she planned this out. That's the thing about it in her case.
I don't think
she
she's
waited
innocent.
till her husband left. She sent him on an errand.
I don't think she's innocent, but he's out of line here. And some of these conservative commentators are falling into this trap where they're acting like liberals. It's rage bait, and they're just saying things that are so crazy. And they feel like it's righteous anger, and there is righteous anger. And guess what, Matt Walsh? This is not it.
Well, one of the comments I saw down here was, "Good morning to everyone except Matt Walsh," from some woman named Jennifer Greenberg. And somebody followed up and said, yeah, Matt Walsh gets fairly excluded. He might have just lost a big chunk of his followers.
Well, I'm one of them
with that.
for now.
It sounds like he did. All right, coming up, we'll get to Ryan Wiggins, host of Wiggins America. Stay tuned.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is Who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Ann Wagner from Missouri's 2nd District. I work every day to put more money in your pocket, secure the border, protect our shared Missouri values, and keep our communities safe. Whether it's visiting one of my public events in neighborhoods around the district or by contacting my office, I want to hear from you. If you need help with a federal agency, please contact me at wagner.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
I've noticed over the last 15 years, no, let's just say 10 years, how astronomical the prices to heat and cooler homes are for the equipment. There was a time when you would call me and it was affordable. If you have a house and you want air conditioning and you just want it to cool your house and you want to heat your house, I have a system that I made a special buy on that will do just that and save you money. Common sense will tell you if you just replace your old, and I'm talking 15, 20, 25, 30, 35-year-old system with a new system, you're going to save big dollars. If you're interested in that, call me. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Again, it's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. God bless.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Social media is on trial again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In particular, Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram.
The question is whether Meta knew something that users didn't. In other words, saying one thing in public, but something else in private.
Fox Business Network's Ashley Webster. 29 states have sued Meta, and attorneys general from 4 lead the case in court in Oakland. California's AG claims Meta has helped fuel a mental health crisis in children.
Meta is accused of designing platforms that are addictive. The tech company denies any wrongdoing, also arguing that social media addiction is not an officially recognized psychiatric diagnosis.
The states want changes at Meta and damages that could top $1 trillion. Meta already lost cases related to harming teens in California and New Mexico, ordered to pay more than $900 million. Another ship hit by another projectile in the Strait of Hormuz today as Iran again insists the waterway remains closed. President Trump insists the strait's open and the U.S. controls it. Meanwhile, Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv there's new U.S.-Israel tension.
Israel launched strikes against a Syrian airbase overnight, prompting U.S. Ambassador Tom Barrack to release a statement saying we are deeply concerned. He went on to say an unnecessary escalation that does not advance regional stability. Now, I spoke with a senior Israeli official about these reports, and they responded saying highly sensitive intelligence was shared with the United States in advance.
It's primary day in Wyoming and Florida, where Democratic Socialists are challenging 2 more House Democrats. Elijah Manley running against Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
I'm not a supporter of open borders, but I'm also not a supporter of having an agency kidnapping Americans off the street like ICE has.
There are also primaries in Alaska. President Trump's warning voters to be careful of an imposter. A retired teacher named Dan Sullivan is one of the 15 candidates challenging GOP Senator Dan Sullivan. Republicans use Democrats are trying to trick voters. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Hard to beat the weather here. Sunny, 66 degrees now at 8:03. Here's a look at what's making headlines on this Tuesday, August 18th. The St. Louis Police Union accuses Mayor Kara Spencer of trying to negotiate officer pay while at an officer's funeral. Now, Spencer denies it, saying in a statement, "To say our conversation was a debate about benefits is deeply and dangerously inaccurate." The debate allegedly happened when the mayor and officers were attending the funeral for 26-year-old Kevin Bradford last week. He died by suicide. A St. Louis judge has ordered the arrest of former presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein after she failed to appear in court for a 2024 assault charge. Stein, who was a candidate for the Green Party, was charged following a pro-Palestine protest on Washington University's campus. Investigators say Stein and other protesters refused to leave campus after multiple warnings. According to court documents, Stein also injured an officer by repeatedly kicking him. Several faith leaders gathered outside the St. Louis ICE office Monday, calling for more oversight of the 4 Missouri jails that hold people for ICE. They're also pushing for local leaders to end voluntary cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Hey, a quick heads up, there's still that boil advisory in effect for several parts of St. Louis City following this weekend's storms. It is expected to remain in effect until about noon today. In sports, Cards won the first game against the Reds and lost the second. They'll play again today at 5:40. And did you see it? The Associated Press just released its top 25 preseason college football poll. Missouri barely squeaked in, coming in at number 25. For all you Illinois fans, unfortunately, Illinois not on the list. All right, 66 degrees here downtown just before 8:05. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Couple of accidents out there causing delays. One is eastbound 364 approaching the Veterans Memorial Bridge. They've got the right lane and what there is of a right shoulder blocked. There was also some debris reported. Now, this one was on eastbound 70 at 141. Watch for that in the center lane. And there was also an accident on northbound 55 past Arsenal. That one is in the left lane, so some volume through there. And eastbound 64, slow pockets east of the Boone Bridge, and it really doesn't look better until you get past 141. And then it slows again between Lindbergh and Big Bend. Westbound lines up Hampton through 170. Slow pockets on northbound 270. Between 55 and Manchester. On the Illinois side, 64 westbound jams. 157, actually it's approaching 157 to 255, where, of course, the westbound lanes are closed. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet Tuesday morning across St. Louis. Sunny skies, 89 for the high tonight. Clouds take over this evening. All is dry. Scattered rain and non-severe thunderstorms after midnight, 73. Wednesday, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms in the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and 84. Another front coming through Wednesday night with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Delightful Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Just before 8:07 right now. We're at 66 degrees. As a reminder, you can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you wherever you go. Listen to the show any time of the day on our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Welcome into Tuesday. Glad you're with us here on the Marc Cox Morning Show. However you got here, thank you for that. If you are with us on the radio, we appreciate that. That's the easiest way. If you're on the app, I listen to it often as I'm traveling and driving across the country. I'll listen to 97.1 all day long on the Odyssey app, where you can download it and it makes it really easy. Or social media, Facebook, X, live every morning, Rumble, YouTube, it's all right there. You can comment, and we read your comments every morning. And, of course, you've also got the text line, 314-241-9797. And we always appreciate your input there as well. Some pretty funny comments, generally speaking. About the Penn State cocaine situation. I think Walter White was the father who was trying to protect the kids who were distributing cocaine on the campus up there at Penn State. That's pretty funny. I don't know.
Didn't think
Weird.
that one through. I guess the dad was just trying to make sure that his son didn't get caught.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't say the extent. It just said he was trying to destroy evidence or obstruct justice or something like that. Wow. That's crazy. I'm sure drugs are still a problem on many campuses, but that's something else for sure. Something completely different. Coming up, we're going to get to Ryan Wiggins before the end of the hour. I'll tell you about a great deal that's coming up, the great situation coming up that you can attend that's going to support all of our friends who help out with Folds of Honor. And it's a shooting event. If you like shooting, it's going to be taking place on September 4th. We'll get our friend Greg on here to talk about that before the end of the hour. So stay tuned for that. So much stuff I still haven't gotten to that I'd like to get to before the end of this hour, including, Kim, we talk often about Homeless Park across the street
I
over
think
here.
you should call it the Unhoused Park.
The what?
Unhoused park.
We should. These people are unhoused. Why are they unhoused? What have we done about it? What have we done about it? In 1987, I think 1988. I mean, it might have been 88 or 89. I know that George W. Bush was president. Homelessness was a huge issue, so they had a march on Washington for the homeless. They staged this big march, and they bussed in homeless people from all over the country to D.C., and I rode on a bus down there with them, which was a bad idea because it was wintertime, and they had the heaters cranked up, and none of the homeless people had bathed in a while, and it was a miserable ride to Washington, D.C., just let me tell you that. But it was Danny Glover was there, all of the Hollywood people flew in, homelessness, we got to fix this problem. Fast forward to 2026. Problem's still not fixed. Now we've shut down the shelters like the New Life Evangelistic Center down here. They fled downtown because the city made it pretty clear they didn't want their help. They get no treatment. They get housed.
Well, that's the problem. A lot of these people, they're not looking for that. When you offer it to them, they don't want that because they don't want to adhere to the curfew and they don't want to have to drug test or whatever else they
need
there.
Treatment is what they need. And that's the new approach by HUD and the Trump administration. We're going to talk about that in just a minute because I think it's important that somebody step up and talk about this because they haven't been doing that. So we'll get to that in a minute. Right now, Ethan, let's go ahead and get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
And so the left has been consumed by this. In fact, just this past week, the DNC adopted in their platform a resolution to abolish ICE. Okay, this isn't a bug. This is now a feature of who they are.
Since the beginning of the Trump administration, ICE has recovered 150,000 missing children, many of them missing because of the Biden administration policies. Who does that if you get rid of ICE? I would ask all of the Democrats out there.
In here, I've never seen such misrepresentation in the media of the actual facts that took place. A soldier fell overboard and was rescued. They were claiming that multiple soldiers were committing suicide.
Just not true, says General Jack Keane, who knows the admiral who flew out to the USS Lincoln and checked it out. And they've got one of the highest re-up rates in the Navy on that particular ship. All of this was a media concoction.
Run on your own ticket. If you're confident people want it, we'll see you in November. If you think they want defunding the police, letting prisoners out, I'll see you in November on the ballot. And if you're confident that that's what people want, go for it.
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel challenging them. He's really trying to play conservative, middle-of-the-road Democrat here. I bet he gets 2% in the when he runs for president. I'll bet Rahm Emanuel. Nobody knows who he is anymore. He was a big Clinton guy and Obama guy, and I'll bet he doesn't get 2% when he runs for president.
But the truth is, if you go out on an issue basis and you take where the big government socialists are and where their radical values are, and you go person by person, you'll discover they're about a 15% party.
Yeah, that Newt Gingrich, man, poor Newt. The dude's voice is getting weaker and weaker all the time. It was hard to listen to him yesterday, but he was pointing out this weakness in terms of actual support. He believes even within the Democratic Party for some of the crazy stuff. Do you think that's true? Do you feel like that is a truth? Are you not worried at all that when you get somebody who looks good, this Abdul Al-Sayed, handsome guy.
Mm-hmm. Not that handsome.
AOC, beautiful. Can we say she's cute?
Yep, yeah.
She's cute. She plays it up. She does. When you get somebody like that appeals to young people and then promises them free stuff, can you beat that with the truth? I don't know if you can. I think we've still got a chance to turn that around. But what's the situation going to be in America 20 years from now? That's what I'm worried about. Remember Bill de Blasio, the former mayor of New York? As bad as we thought that guy was, they've fallen out of the frying pan into the fire now with Kami Mamdani. But de Blasio is on Morning Joe this morning making the argument on these DSA candidates that, hey, they're not the crazy ones. He's claiming that polling shows a majority of Americans support the same positions as these DSA candidates. I don't believe this is true. This is what he's claiming. Listen to this.
And when you look at the polling, it's quite striking. You know, I respect Hakeem Jeffries a lot, but I disagree with him when he said on Sunday he wouldn't vote for Medicare for all. That's a majority position in America now. Higher taxes on millionaires and billionaires, majority position. Changing our policies in the Middle East, getting out of the Iran war, majority positions. So I think these new candidates, it's not about the DSA platform. It's about they represent actually views that are increasing where the American people are. And a lot of them are just good candidates, dynamic candidates.
Yeah, he's very confident on all of it.
Don't you think that some of the Democrats who are trying to publicly come out and oppose DSA, that secretly they like some of the policies, but they're worried if they say it that they'll
isolate? They're playing the middle ground.
They're trying to play the middle ground, but as soon as they get elected or reelected, they might start shifting a little bit more that direction.
You're seeing it in the platform of the Democrat National Committee. When they start putting this stuff in the platform, you know at that point that it's almost too far gone. Listen to Harry Enton. Here's another problem the Democrats are facing in addition to the DSA threat, because most people don't want you to have, Medicaid for all. This whole idea of blowing up the healthcare system is crazy. All you have to do is look at Canada or England. You don't want to be in that situation where you get sick and you have to go on a 6-month waiting list or go to wait a minute. You won't be able to go to another country to get the medical procedure done because the U.S. was the last place you could do that. Listen to Harry Enton on the other problem the Democrats face.
Donald Trump's political brand ain't too hot to trot these days, but I got to tell you,
PU when it comes to the Democratic brand, the net favorability rating of the Democratic Party. You know, back in 2018, when Democrats, during the first Trump presidency, right, when they were able to win back control of the House, they were even. They were even, right? Favorable minus unfavorable, even at 0, 0, 0. Now look at this. 25 points underwater. Oof. Oof. You know, the Dem brand, as I said, it's not too good these days. It's not too good. It kind of smells like a New York, not the Democratic brand.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Smells like a New York gutter.
It's probably true, but you have these policies and you have these polls saying, look, these policies suck. People don't like them. Like you have Save America Act, 80-20 issue, but they're not passing it.
They ignore that.
So I don't really listen to a lot of those polls because they're not coming to fruition.
It's a good point.
Makes no sense.
All right, we'll get to a break. We'll talk about that homeless issue I mentioned a minute ago. Bendy's on here saying you can't force people into treatment. I don't know. I think we changed some rules 40 years ago, and we used to force them into treatment, and we don't anymore. Now they're roaming the streets. I'm going to talk about some potential changes coming up. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident northbound 55 near Arsenal, and they've got the left lane blocked. Traffic, of course, is slowing through there. And eastbound 364 is jammed. There is an accident as you approach Veterans Memorial Bridge, and they've got the right lane blocked, so some slow-moving traffic behind that. Now, other than that, it's the usual. So eastbound 64, slow pockets through Chesterfield Valley. You get a break after 141, and then moderate volume between Lindbergh and Big Bend, with westbound slowing approaching Clayton Skinker through Hanley. Northbound 270, slow pockets 21 through Manchester, and on the Illinois side, 64 westbound, of course, closed 255 to 18th Street, and some slow-moving traffic behind it. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door, barronmirror.com. We'd like to congratulate them. It's their 50-year anniversary, and you do not stay in business that long by not supplying quality products, outstanding service, and having an experienced staff. So contact Barron Mirror Glass and Door today and let them show you why 50 years is just a start. Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I was just looking here for Chesterfield Fence. You go to their website, chesterfieldfence.com, can see this for yourself. I love working with companies that give back to the community. They certainly do at Chesterfield Fence. They've been working for years now with the Wounded Warrior Project, with Hot Dogs for Heroes, with Brace for Impact. And these are all community organizations, and they've been giving back. Here's the truth about Chesterfield Fence. 55 plus years in business now, over 100 employees who work at Chesterfield Fence, who many of them have been with the company many, many years, and in excess of 10,000 satisfied customers. Read the reviews for yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's nothing you can come up with at your house in the backyard they can't help you with. Retaining walls, pergolas, patios, sunrooms, decks, fences, and gates. They've been doing that since they started, hence the name Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And right now they'll give you 20% off the bottom line when you mention my name to get your next outdoor project started with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They're always going to come over and give you a free estimate and free project design. Go online today and tell them Mark sent you. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
Your home should work for your lifestyle, not against it. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we specialize in transforming kitchens, bathrooms, and basements into spaces you'll love to live in. Whether it's a spa-like bathroom retreat, a chef-inspired kitchen, or a finished basement perfect for entertaining, our design-build experts bring your vision to life. Start your next interior renovation with St. Louis's most trusted remodeling team. Visit lakesiderd.com to schedule a free consultation, and let's create your dream home together.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com And join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, Health from Within, STL.com.
Ann's Bra Shop is hiring. If you're retired but tired of staying in your home, consider working at a fulfilling job at Ann's Bra Shop. Ann's Bra Shop is hiring sales assistant, clerks, and fitters. Join Ann's Bra Shop for the friendly atmosphere and the team players. Call 314-878-4144.
Today, the Cards, the Reds. Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:40. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The time now is 8:22, and this time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Don't forget, you can join us on all the socials, Facebook, X, Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis conservative.
All right, so one thing I noticed, I usually try to take count as I'm driving downtown each morning as to how many homeless people I see on the streets. It depends on the weather, obviously. Sometimes even in wintertime, there are the hardcore people who are still trying to sleep on a grate when it's, near zero outside. Sometimes when it's super hot, there aren't quite as many of them. Other days I come downtown and it looks like The Walking Dead. As you drive downtown, they're like zombies walking all over the place. This morning, I did notice one sleeping on the grate right outside of our building down here. And I don't know why they picked that grate. I don't know if air blows out of it. It keeps them a little cooler than normal. Warmer, cooler. I don't know. I can't figure it out. My conclusion, like Bendy here on Facebook this morning has been commenting, is that in many cases, the problem is it's a mental health problem. It's a drug addiction problem that has landed these people in a cycle of homelessness that they can't break out of. And until you get those initial problems treated, it's never going to get any better. Giving them a bed for the night, even if it's in a place where they can't bring their drugs or alcohol in, is still not addressing the problem. We paid a lot of lip service to this and a lot of money over the years. And now Scott Turner, who's the current secretary of HUD, has come up with a different approach. I heard him discuss this yesterday, and I wanted you guys to hear it. I mean, I think it's a good start because we haven't done anything like this in many years. Listen.
Turner says he wants to get away from the so-called housing first approach, where homeless individuals are given housing with few conditions to get them off the streets, and adopt what he calls a treatment first approach, requiring treatment for drug addiction and mental illness in order to stay in housing long term.
The difference, housing first is just housing. Treatment first is understanding there's a root cause here. Get them housed, get them treated, get them transformed. It's the right thing to do. Let me ask you this. If you have a business, your family budget, personal budget, if what you're doing is failing, and I know you're not going to continue to do the same thing. What we've been doing in Housing First is failing the American people.
I cannot agree with that more. I feel like a lot of liberals, their approach to a lot of the issues is this is a Band-Aid. They're not actually addressing the root cause of it, especially when it comes to crime. You have to address what's causing the crime in order to actually control things. And that means, in this case, putting more officers on the street. When it comes to this, yeah, you're right. You have to address the issue, which is mental illness, which is tied to addiction.
Same with welfare.
Yeah.
And it's a Band-Aid approach from the left, in my opinion, because when those people are in the system, they demand more services and they vote for the people that are giving it to them, that are giving them the money. And again, it gets back to the power issue, and it rarely addresses getting them off of welfare. The whole welfare to work, that you got to prove that if you're able-bodied, that if you want Medicaid, that you can get out and work at least part-time if you're able-bodied. And they acted like you're, torturing people to force a physically and mentally able-bodied person to get out and work a few days a week in order to get freebies from their federal government.
Yeah.
And I think what Turner's doing here is absolutely a step in the right direction. Now, will it be quick? No. If we went back to the policy that you could take somebody and drop them off at a mental hospital and they would actually be admitted and treated, then we'd be one step closer to fixing some of these problems, because these people are not going to do this on their own. They're not going to self-admit. Even though they probably reached the lowest low that anybody could reach, they have mental health problems on top of all of it. I know from personal experience in our family how hard it is to get somebody admitted to get mental health care. You in the middle of a crisis, you can sit in a lobby in one of these places for 8 hours, and they might send somebody out eventually to do an interview with the person to find out whether or not, and even then they often don't have a bed. Mm-hmm. So it's a complete waste of your 8 hours in many cases.
Yep.
That's frustrating, and ultimately it's what has exacerbated this problem across America. So I hope that Turner's got the resources to back this up, because it's a step in the right direction to taking care of whatever this homeless issue is. I hope that they're doing that. All right, we got Wiggins coming in here in just a few minutes. He's going to be in studio. You know, there's a primary today in Florida. There's a primary in Alaska. Do you know what they've done to the Republican candidate in Alaska? They ran another candidate with the exact same name to draw votes away from him. It's the dirtiest politics you've ever seen. We're going to talk about it with Wiggins coming up here in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Hey, Stewie's here from Stewart's American Mortgage, and he continues with some amazing offers for potential customers this summer.
You know what, Mark? We talked about the 1% reduction when you're buying a house. You lock it in at 6.5%. You get 5.5%. We're going to extend that to certain kinds of refinances right now as well. If you have an FHA loan and you need to go to conventional because it's usually better, we're going to give you 1% lower for the first year as well. It's a great opportunity. Take advantage now. Cash out, rate and term refinances from FHA to conventional, 1% lower for the first year.
A lot of people are just on the sidelines. They're worried about the rate that they locked in originally, and they need cash from their house, though, right?
That's right. It's a great opportunity. Look to see what you're paying on those credit cards. If you need to go ahead and do some improvements to your house, this is a great time to do it. Don't use your credit cards. The APRs are 30%. Stay away from those high interest rate type of programs. Refinance, get one fixed rate. It's not adjustable. 1% lower for the first year.
Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Oil prices are rising this morning as prospects receded for a deal to end the Middle East conflict, with Iran saying it would adopt a more offensive stance and the U.S. ruling out extending a ceasefire deal. West Texas Intermediate up to $85 a barrel, Brent at 91. The board that oversees Washington Dulles Airport will vote tomorrow on a $19.9 billion overhaul plan that includes building new underground tunnels and replacing slow vehicles that transport passengers across the tarmac. Officials say the reconstruction of the main terminal is set to begin in late 2027. U.S. homebuilder sentiment unexpectedly ticked higher in August, but residential construction firms' confidence remains weak overall, weighed down by economic uncertainty, high mortgage rates, and steep building costs. The National Association of Home Builders Index rose 1 point to a reading of 35 this month. Futures are lower this morning as Treasury yields and oil prices rise. That's Your Money Now.
That'll be $84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we've had a couple of challenges out there, but things seem to be calming down a bit. Now, eastbound 364, we still have the right lane blocked by an accident approaching Veterans Memorial Bridge, but 64 out west is not too bad. Little bit slow Clarkson through Timberlake Manor and then east of Lindbergh through Big Bend, but it's moderate volume. And northbound 270 has moderate volume in pockets. 21 through Manchester, 55 still a little slow at the 44 split due to an earlier accident. Now, eastbound 70 has moderate volume as well, just passing 141 and headed for 270. The Illinois side, westbound 64, is slow, 157 through 255. Of course, that's where the westbound lanes of 64 are closed, 255 to 18th Street. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Let's look at your roof for just a minute. Few of us do that. I mean, I notice it when I pull up in the driveway usually. After I went out in that hailstorm of a year ago and saw my truck beat all to pieces, the first thing I did was call Curtis Carell of Carell Roofing Company and said, if my truck looks this bad, I hate to think of what happened to my roof. Well, we've had several storms since then, right? And a few storms before that. So if you haven't had your roof checked in the last couple of years, perfect time, perfect weather to let Curtis come out and give you a free roof inspection from somebody that I'm telling you can trust to tell you the truth. He's not just trying to stir up work for himself, right? If you've got a roof problem and he thinks you deserve a new roof, he's going to go to bat for you with your insurance company. And if he doesn't, he's going to be honest with you, as he was with my daughter. He said, you don't have enough damage up there to go in and try to make a claim on your roof. That's the kind of person you want, because I don't know enough about roofs. I do know that Curtis takes a lot of pride in the fact that he's helped several people get coverage where they had failed before. So if you find yourself in that situation, call him. Great guy, veteran, family man. You're going to love working with Curtis. 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Online at CorellRoofingCo.com.
How would you like a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter of St. Louis, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer? Give yourself peace of mind now by calling for a free estimate. 314-499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
Marc Cox here. Celebrate the month of August with Zero Res. They're offering you 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $119. That's $106 in savings. You can book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Still celebrating? Yes, we are. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Ryan Wiggins, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Thank you very much. I heard you tease this story, so I guess you're familiar with the goings-on a little bit, are you?
I am, and they've also got that stupid ranked choice voting up in Alaska, and I don't know how that affects things, but there's a primary today in Florida, in Alaska, and one other state, Wyoming or Washington. Well, I guess it's Wyoming.
Yeah. So this is I think this is one of the last primary days. I don't think there are many more after this. This is probably it.
Probably can't be.
Getting too close to the election. But dirty politics, man. This is tell me if I'm wrong here, but whenever the goalposts move, it's never Republicans that do it. Republicans will eventually catch up and say, "Oh, the rules have changed. I guess we got to play by those rules." But typically what I've seen in my entire life watching politics is Democrats will do something that you go, dang, I wish we would have thought of that, or dang, that's really dirty. I guess the rules have changed, and this is one of those to me.
It is. It's like redistricting, like they did it for years and squeezed out every possible seat they could, and then suddenly the Republicans decided to do it, and the Democrats all called foul.
Yeah. Right.
You can't do that. Wait a minute. Have you looked at Illinois recently?
Or ballot harvesting, where they're going over to the
ballot
homeless people and paying them
really
$5
good one
to vote.
Exactly, and just many other things. I mean, the whole vote by mail thing has been, Democrat led, especially in 2020, pushing it further.
Yeah,
but this one's new. This is crazy. When I saw the story, I almost couldn't believe it. That Democrats have decided to. Okay, you got the top 2 candidates in Alaska are Dan Sullivan, the Republican, and Mary Peltola, the Democrat.
Isn't he an incumbent?
I think so, yeah. But she's run several times, so she's not like a new name
so
either.
They both have name recognition.
They both do. So they've decided, the Democrats, somebody somewhere has dug up a guy also named Dan Sullivan to run as a Republican in that primary. Now, this primary is weird because, like you said, it's ranked choice voting. Normally, you'd have the top 2 candidates go to the ballot. You could have other candidates, but they'd have to say Green Party or Independent or whatever below them. But since it's ranked choice, as I understand it, you can run 2 Republicans. And so you'll have 2, if this guy gets enough votes, he just needs to be one of the top 4. So you'll have Dan Sullivan, you'll have Mary Peltola. The other 2 candidates could be 2 randos, and this guy could be another Dan Sullivan as a Republican running. And you say, oh, well, he says he's a genuine Republican, though. He just wants to change the system, and he happens to be named Dan Sullivan. Okay,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Then now, wasn't there a lawsuit to remove him from the ballot, and then he got put back on the ballot? Am I correct about that?
There's been a lot. The courts have ruled in his favor. It's like, well, you can't. It is your name, so you can't change your name. But there's now an investigation from the DOJ and FBI into collusion and conspiracy among Democrats to get him to run to, basically cause fraud.
Follow the money, I'll bet.
Follow the money, for sure. You don't think this guy's doing it for free. And by the way, any rumors that he would have possibly been, he's just a genuine guy, there's nothing to this. Trump came out and tweeted, get over it. This is the Democrats doing this, and that's why the DOJ is looking into it.
Check me if I'm wrong here. The last time I looked into this story, Alaska was having they were either in the process of trying to switch back from ranked choice voting, or they were talking about switching back from ranked choice voting because they've realized what a complete disaster it is up there.
I sure hope so. I have not heard that they were trying to move away from it, but they should. I mean, you're one of the few people that I ever talk about this with, and I'm so glad that you talk about this because ranked choice is something that it's not just an Alaska problem. This is something that Democrats, you'll notice, speaking of doing politics, running ahead of the curve, Democrats go into Republican areas, especially like lean Republican areas. Hard red, they don't care as much about. But if it's kind of like, oh, we got maybe a shot here, like let's try it in Utah or something, they'll go into red areas like that and push ranked choice voting and say, well, this is a better idea because it opens up democracy and all these things. But it's just a political strategy, as you know,
right,
to allow red states to soften enough that you might get either a Democrat candidate to sneak through or a much softer Republican in there, which is what exactly has happened in Alaska because we have freaking Murkowski up there who's benefited from ranked choice like crazy.
They know that particularly in primaries, Republican conservatives have a better chance of doing well in these red states.
Right.
And they want to soften that. They want to mix that up and see if they can get like a prom school runoff like they do in the city of St. Louis now.
Exactly.
Well,
it's just insane.
It'd be funny if it's no longer worked somehow, and then all of a sudden you'd have all these Democrats who had for years advocated for ranked choice voting, and then they'd come out of the woodwork saying, you know
this
what,
is a bad
actually,
idea.
I don't think this is really what's best.
Well, they're second guessing. It's not ranked choice that they have in California, but they do have that like just top several candidates.
Yeah, you have to be in the top.
You have to be in the top, and so it's almost come to bite them a couple times, but it never has quite gotten there. But they've tried to move away from it too because they started that there back when politics wasn't so divided. Some of these laws predate our kind of modern way of doing things that everything's so tribal. But for the most part, this is entirely Republicans could do it too in Democrat areas. We just don't. Democrats do it almost exclusively in red areas.
Yeah, they're smart. I mean, they win. I hate it, but they show up to the polls whenever it comes to the school board elections, and for whatever reason, conservatives they don't show up, and so it's effective.
Before you get out of here, I wanted to ask you, Andy Beshear. Have you followed the story at all? The governor of Kentucky.
No, I don't know.
So, obviously, having some connections to Kentucky, I followed this guy's career. His dad was governor years ago. He won basically on name recognition. They've repeatedly elected Democrat governors in Kentucky, even though it's a bright red state. And they have 2 Republican senators, right? And this guy has always portrayed himself as a moderate and blah, 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 blah. Well, he kind of let the cat out of the bag the other day when he came out yesterday. I played the soundbite. He wants to get rid of the Electoral College. He thinks it's time. Because candidates never come to Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's a state with 4.4 million people. They have fewer residents than we do in Missouri. The whole idea of the Electoral College is that every state mattered. But he wants to get rid of that and go to a situation where these candidates would only ever have to go make appearances in New York and L.A. and big cities and try to ramp up the left-wing vote in this country.
He thinks candidates aren't coming there now?
No, yes,
I know.
Try
get rid of the Electoral College that never, ever come to Kentucky.
No, it's a misunderstanding of the brilliance of our forefathers.
The thing about the Electoral College, too, the argument, because I hadn't heard him say that, the argument that, well, they never come to our area. Well, the problem is if you get rid of it, then they would only go to just the most densely populated areas.
Correct.
So it wouldn't solve the issue of, they never come to my area. And in fact, what you see is, even in our lifetime, you've seen states shift from being swing states to non-swing states. And that's constantly evolving. So candidates do have to target different states in different electoral years. Like we've seen Missouri used to be a major swing state. And we've moved right to where presidentially we don't get the attention that we used to because we're not as much of a swing state.
Right.
But that's the nature of swing states, and that's the nature of the Electoral College, is that it does put more focus on random states as the electorate shifts. You see that over and over.
Well, I hope somebody realizes it for sure in Kentucky, or anybody that looked at that guy as a moderate of some sort and wants to upend the entire U.S. system of elections, no doubt. All right, Ryan, remind people where they can listen to Wiggins America.
Saturday morning, 7 to 8, and Sunday evening, 7 to 8.
All right, buddy, thank you. Tune in and hear Ryan on the Annie Show today, noon to 3, right here on 97.1 FM Talk. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, things continue to improve, and that would be on eastbound 364 for sure. We had that accident just as you approach the Veterans Memorial Bridge. That has been cleared. Now, eastbound 70, there's a new accident. It's just east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and that is causing a jam behind it. But once you get past there, things look a lot better. Eastbound 64 still slow at Clarkson, and moderate volume east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. With westbound, mainly moderate volume, but it's approaching Clayton Skinker out through McCausland. 55 is still slow, headed for the 44 split. There was an accident earlier at Arsenal that caused that delay. And it's road work on the Illinois side. Westbound 64 is closed, 255 to 18th Street, and that is causing a delay. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
We're here to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. This is 97.1 FM Talk. America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Hey guys, Cam Jansen here. Don't miss a hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center in the South Hall. Choose from over 30 American-made units on display. See hot tubs, swim spas, and cold tubs all ready for immediate delivery. Save up to 50% off MSRP. Financing is available. For more information, call 1-800-SPA-SALE. That's 1-800-SPA-SALE.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
All right, quick reminder, little housekeeping here. Please get out and register people for our Feed Our First Responders program. We need more nominations. Go to 971talk.com/contest. You'll see it right there. Just nominate your favorite first responder. Firefighter, police officer, corrections worker. I mean, nominate someone, a dispatcher who you think has done a great job. And then once a month, we pick a winner. And Grill Master Tony Stone, grillmastertony.com, cooks up a big box of food, and we feed everybody on their shift. So if you would get those nominations in, we would appreciate that, because we're always looking for good people that we can help out for sure. So we'll keep that nomination form up there at 971talk.com/contests. All right, speaking of contests, Are you any good at shooting? Because there's a good contest coming up on September 4th out at Nilo Farms. And my friend Greg Litwicki is on the phone right now to tell us a little bit more about that. He is the organizer of Shooting for Honor. And Greg, welcome in. How are you?
Thanks a lot, Mark. I'm doing great. I hope everybody's doing well. I really appreciate this amount of time to kind of spread the word of the cause and talk about this great event that's coming up Friday before Labor Day.
Yeah, well, I love Folds of Honor. My son is involved in it, and I'm proud of what he's been able to do. I know he just had a very successful golf tournament and raising money for him. So whatever we can do to help, I want to do that. Now, you and I, we met before at one of these Folds of Honor events, and I know that you are also a big fan of the shooting sports. This is a sporting clay shoot at Nilo Farms, which I didn't realize that if you spell it backwards, it spells Olin.
Yeah, for sure. It's John Olin created this property back in 1952. So it's 650 acres of pristine shooting sports and wing hunting property. If anybody has ever heard of it or has never been out there, this is a phenomenal opportunity to go out there and really have a great time and help us on this great cause of helping to educate the children and spouses of fallen or seriously disabled first responders and military personnel. So, yeah, I can't thank Winchester enough. They are such great sponsors, and without them, we couldn't put this on, and we couldn't make sure that the money raised in this event goes to that foundation and to help fund all those scholarships. So just real quick, this event itself, if you've never been out there, it's a 14-station sporting clays course. We have phenomenal staff members from Nilo that are on hand. They'll help people with their shooting. You don't even need to bring a gun. They've got all kinds of great Browning firearms and Winchester firearms for you to use. We have great food. We have a bar right down the street called Bakers and Hale where we go and hang out afterwards. It's a super casual, just a really great time. And I hope that our goal is to always just fill the course. We try to keep it nice and moving along. So it's about a 2-hour shoot. And then we're down having a great time. We actually have some of my friends from Winchester Bourbon going to be on hand doing some sampling. So that's a brand new product that just hit our area. So you'd be one of the first people to really try that in the Missouri and Southern Illinois area.
Well, again, it's Friday, September 4th. It's going to be out at Nilo Farms. If people want to register today, do you still need sponsors? Could you still take sponsors? We
absolutely can take sponsors. And honestly, if you just go to MSI, that's Missouri, Southern Illinois, msi.foldsofhonor.org, you can hit that events tab and you'll see it there to register.
Yeah.
And, we make all of our money on events, really, primarily. So it's a nice place to kind of keep in touch with, and you'll see all these great events that we have going on, just like the Young Professionals Golf Tournament that Brad was involved in last week. And we've got a pub crawl coming up. We've got an incredible glamping event coming up in October. So it's just a great place to see cool stuff that's going on, and then know that 91 cents of every dollar raised goes to this cause.
Outstanding. MSI.foldsofhonor.org. You can get signed up for this Labor Day weekend Shooting for Honor. Greg Litwicki, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, my friend, take care. It's good hearing from you, and I hope people get signed up for that.
Also, what a fun last name. Litwicki?
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Awesome. Glad I didn't screw that up. Yeah, that's good. Great guy. Great event. Hope you can get out there and go shooting with him. It should be a lot of fun. I'd love to see that myself, for sure. All right, tell you what, we'll turn this thing over to Brian Kilmeade here in a couple of minutes. I'm sure he'll have the very latest on what's coming down out of Iran this morning with these negotiations with Oman. The president said yesterday he wasn't real happy about that, so I'm sure Brian's going to have the very latest on that for you. Always download the podcast. Don't forget that. If you missed anything, wherever you download your favorite podcast, you can find the Marc Cox Morning Show. Have yourselves a great Tuesday. Enjoy this weather. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.